Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the October 16th meeting of the Montclair Historic Preservation Commission. Notice has been given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by posting a copy of the notice on the first floor of the municipal building and by sending a copy to the Montclair Times, the Star Ledger, and the Herald News. We are being broadcast live on Channel 34 Montclair and also remotely streamed on YouTube channel. Zana, could you please call the roll?
Yes. Chair Bennet.
Present.
Vice Chair Graham is not present. Mr. Reimnitz.
Here.
Mr. Rooney.
Here.
Mr. Sweeney.
Here.
Mr. Giuliano.
Here.
Mr. Pierre is not present. Mr. Mixer is not present. Miss Floyd is not present. Miss Bauer.
Here.
Mr. Smolin.
Here.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And also we have our secretary, who we can't do without.
Oh, yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Thank you. I'd just like to inform everybody that we received a letter of resignation from Kevin Pierre. So he will not be, obviously he won't be joining us. So I just would like to thank him for his service that he, performed on the commission for the past 2 years, I guess, 3 years. And I have an appointment with our mayor to get to see who we can have as a replacement. So we'll hopefully be working with a full complement on the commission. Approval of minutes of July 24th, 2025. And as you're all aware, I think, we did not meet in August or September. August, we had no applications. In September, we did not have a quorum. So no meetings means no minutes. And now we're looking at the minutes of July 24th, 2025. Does anyone have any changes, suggestions?
I have a comment on the design under Design Review Committee on page 2. It says we provided recommendations, but doesn't list the recommendations we made. And I think that's important that, people see the recommendations we made and what were incorporated and what weren't, so maybe we could elaborate on that.
Right, I can include the bulleted recommendations from the memorandum we sent into.
I'm sorry?
I can include the recommendations that were on the memorandum sent to the applicant underneath as a bulleted list.
Okay. That's fine. That's it. That's all
Okay.
I had.
And what about on page 5?
Other than the same comment on the Mercado
Well, we need
language,
to, right,
cleaning up that language there.
right. So on page 5, number 3, the slats across the top of the storefront are to be continuous. Obviously, if they're the seams should not be all fall in the same place. So I think the sentence should read, the composite material used for the wooden slats must closely replicate the appearance of the existing white oak. Oh, that's one. And then the second sentence would be that seams in the horizontal wood slats must be minimized and staggered on the facade. And then that language should be incorporated into the resolution. Okay?
And number 4, stopping that sentence after facade.
Right. So the storefront design must be consistent across the entire facade, and then take out stating over rather than beginning midway. Okay. So there are those 3 changes on page 5, and then the one on page 2. Does anyone else have any other comments or no? So may I have a motion to approve the minutes as amended of July 24th?
I have to abstain.
Oh, you weren't here. Okay.
I moved to approve as amended.
And second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, great. Then we move to the resolution for application 2025-14, 605 to 607 Valley Road, the Mercado storefront. And the changes that we just mentioned for the minutes should be included in that resolution. And if those are included, then we can vote on that as well. So can I, who can vote on that? Everybody that was here?
Chair Bennet, Mr. Reimnitz, Mr. Sweeney, and Mr. Giuliano can vote.
Okay, so I make a motion that we approve the resolution with the amended language as discussed. Second? And all in favor? Aye. Okay, great. Committee reports. So even though we were not here for 2 months, the committees were very busy. Minor applications on August 15th, application 2025-15, 46 Church Street. The Right Group was approved. Application 2025-19, 300 Bloomfield Avenue, Terra Modern Cuisine was approved. Application 2025-21 at 332 Bloomfield Avenue, Insomnia Cookies was approved. September 11th, application 2025-20, 602 Bloomfield Avenue, Pure Green Smoothies was approved. Application 2025-22, 510 Bloomfield Avenue, Juichi is pending. And then on September 23rd, 369 Bloomfield Avenue, Montclair check cashing signage was approved. The Design Review Committee met with Eagle Scout Wyatt Foster for the information board that he installed. He designed and created, and now it's installed at Watchung Plaza Park. We worked, the Design Review Committee and I worked very closely with him to make sure that all the information was accurate, and I think if you go to the park now, you'll see that it's a really nice addition to the park. And next month, he's going to come here to introduce himself and just tell us kind of the process. We have too long of an agenda tonight, so we had to ask him to come back next month. On September 4th, the Design Review Committee met with the architect and owners for facade review for 510-516 Bloomfield Avenue. We had an on-site meeting and discussed facade, which we'll see later on tonight with what their application that they're submitting. On October 2nd and October 14th, we met with the Bellevue Theater owners and mural artists to discuss what the design of the murals will be. And I think we had a very successful meeting this past meeting. We're in the process of giving some design inspiration to the artists and the owner, and we hope to see that the next meeting, which hopefully will be next week, will have a more filled out, fleshed out idea of what the two murals will be. One is to be on the east facade, which faces the plaza, and the other will be on the west facade, which faces the park. Grants. We had applied for a CLG grant for the South End Miller Street District, which was denied. The Upper Montclair Commuter District Phase 2 grant, which is also a CLG grant. The survey is finalized and is filed with the New Jersey Historic Preservation Office. And tonight we'll have a presentation by the consultant as to the work that she did on that grant. And we're very happy to announce that we received a $48,000 grant for a preservation plan for the building at 647 Bloomfield Avenue, which you might know now is the police building, but originally it was the first municipal building of Montclair. So we'll be working with that, trying to help the township with the Infrastructure and Buildings Committee come up with a plan to augment what they're going to do with the buildings that the township owns. And this will give them a clear idea of what that building, even though it was originally designed as a municipal building, with today's needs and all changes. They'll help the township and decide on how they want to go forward with that. Excuse me. Outreach. We're collaborating again with the library and the Montclair History Center on a Research Your House workshop. That will be on October 28th, which is a Wednesday, 10 to 12, and November 1st, which is a Saturday, 10 to 12. So anyone that's interested in volunteering, you're more than welcome to. And then we worked with the Rotary Club, the Garden Club, and the community fairs to refurbish the entry plaza in front of the entrance to the YMCA on Park Street. I was there this morning helping them plant, and just want to announce it's a clever idea for adaptive reuse of the benches that were in the Watchung Park. That they part of that refurbishment were new benches, so we're hoping that two old benches will now be placed in the plaza. So it is a way to make the entrance to the Y more welcoming. Okay, so with that, according to our agenda, we have public comment, and the public is welcome to come up. If you have anything to say, keep it under 3 minutes. Just you have to state your name and address. And make sure it's on.
Is it on? Good evening, members of the commission. My name is Jason Street. I'm the owner of Applegate Farm, located at 616 Grove Street in Montclair. My wife and I have proudly operated the business for nearly 35 years as a second-generation owner at that. Throughout the time, we've maintained a strong, positive relationship with the Township of Montclair. We deeply value this community. We've always tried to give back in meaningful ways. To highlight just a few of the examples, the ways we've supported Montclair over the years, very strong supporter of the Montclair Police Department. We consistently support and contribute to their annual events, including their Easter egg hunt they have in the spring, clothing drives. We help them with Hurricane Sandy, collecting clothes, help purchase a trailer for them to assist with all their community events, and with the Montclair Public Schools. This is a monthly, ongoing give back to the community. We're consistently doing ice cream socials for the schools, teacher toasts, free movie nights for Northeast School. We've done on a regular basis, being a neighbor of Northeast School. Highly support them. We support the high school backpack program every single year, and Project Graduation as well. We've been a long-term supporter of them by donating ice cream to the seniors. Montclair Parks and Rec Department. Over the years, we've worked with Pat Breshka. We've worked with Eileen Sheehan over the years, in years past as well as sponsoring free movie nights for the Parks Department. We've done free hay rides at the park after the 4th of July parade. We've also done the picnic for the Township of Montclair up through COVID. The township picnics, sports teams. Over the years, back when they were redoing Woodman Field and they turfed it, talking to Pat Breshka and Eileen Sheehan, they expressed the fact that they didn't have any funds to help put on the fireworks. We donated the fireworks 2 years in a row, over $15,000 worth of donations to help make sure that the community didn't have to put money out to go to the fireworks. And then we moved the fireworks over to the Jackal Stadium. We supported the township when PSE&G was doing all the pipe work for the gas lines in town. And over the course of that time, we allowed the PSE&G, working with the township with PSE&G to put all their equipment and stuff on our property to alleviate it from the side streets in the neighborhood. And we've also on a regular supporter of the Montclair Library and the History Center there as well. We understand that this is only a small sample of what we've done over the past 35 plus years, but we also understand that there is something going on with the Connolly and Hickey conducting a survey on our property as well as our neighbors' properties. Creating really an unnecessary and unfair financial burden for everyone involved. Honestly, this is so disheartening, and it bothers me personally, being a long-term member of this community. And tonight to have to come here and express my feelings in this manner is, it really feels like we've been abandoned and unappreciated. I'm letting you know that we strongly object to the potential historical designation of our property, our structures on our property at 616 Grove Street, and we'll take the necessary steps to protect our rights side by side with every one of our neighbors that we're close with. Let me be clear. There has been really no formal state, federal, or local historic designations made on our site. And we've not received any notice of such designations over the years. The NJHPO grant for $30,000 was required to be concluded on September 30th, 2025. And what I don't understand is, how and why is it continuing? And it's my understanding that 616 Grove Street is not currently in tonight's agenda, but it's to be included in the coming months. Who authorized any extension of the September 30th deadline? Who's paying for this beyond September 30th, beyond the grant, beyond the $30,000 grant? This proposed designation is not just unwelcome. It's really, in my view, unfair and would cause real negative impacts on our property, our neighborhood, and our neighbors' properties, as well as the township of Montclair as a whole and our family. Let me remind the commission that, Applegate Farm is a federally registered trademark that we own under a separate entity. And we're not required to operate Applegate Farm on that property at 616 Grove Street. And if unreasonable restrictions are placed on the property, we don't need to be there. Basically, we really urge the commission to reconsider any efforts towards historical designation of our site and our neighbors' properties around it. We've always been proud to be part of Montclair. We simply want to continue operating and giving back without undue hardship. And this is really hard on me and our family. I want to thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Street. Anyone else would like to address the commission? No? Okay, so before we have Ms. Hickey's comments on the grant, what I would like to do is just give a little bit of history of what a CLG grant is. This is not a designation for a local district. It's not a designation for a district. We have 4 local districts in Montclair. They are Pine Street, Bloomfield Avenue, Upper Montclair, and Watchung Avenue, which currently are considered commercial districts. Those are local districts, and because they're local districts, it enables us, the HPC, to really have say on signage. That's basically what it is signage. So I just would like to be very clear that this is not a local designation. What this is, what the monies are CLG grant. And I'd like to read what a CLG grant is, the purpose of funding. The Historic Preservation Office, in partnership with the National Park Service, administers the Certified Local Government Program. That's what a CLG grant is. Certified Local Government. It doesn't only concern preservation. It also, Montclair receives grant monies under this grant title for water abatement studies. The goals of the program, here specifically for preservation, the goals are to ensure the broadest possible participation of local governments in the National Historic Preservation Program while maintaining standards consistent with the National Historic Preservation Act and the Secretary of the Interior's standards and guidelines for archaeology and historic preservation, to enrich, develop, and maintain local historic preservation programs in cooperation and coordination with SHPO, the State Historic Preservation Office, and to provide financial and technical assistance to further these purposes. The Historic Preservation Office is required to re-grant 10% of the state's allocation of federal historic preservation funds for pass-through, such as subgrants to certified local government communities. The goals for the grant projects are to identify building sites, structures, objects, and districts which are significant in the areas of history, architecture, archaeology, and engineering, and which meet the criteria for inclusion in the New Jersey and National Registers of Historic Places, and to design and implement planning tools for the protection of historic resources. This is all on the Department of New Jersey government website under grant and loan programs. Since I've been involved with the HPC, we have received 7 CLG grants. 2015, we received monies to create the historic design guidelines. In 2016, we received monies to write the, historic preservation element of the master plan. In 2019, we received grant monies to conduct an intensive level survey of Oakcroft and Wheeler Street area, which is it's really a neighborhood area. In 2021, we received monies for an intensive level survey of the estate section, which again is a study of the buildings, the structures, and also a development of the neighborhood, how it developed from farmland to being subdivided in 1900. In 2022, we received monies to create the Montclair Residential Historic Design Guidelines and also a brochure, trifold brochure, which we distribute to the library, actually to hardware stores, and also to the Montclair History Center. In 2024, the grant gave us monies for an intensive level survey of Phase 1 of the Upper Montclair Commuter District, and in 2025 we received monies for the intensive level survey of Phase 2 of the Upper Montclair Commuter District. And I should tell you that the reason we couldn't combine the two is because there were over 600 properties within that, and we had to divide it into two. So everybody will, I'm going to ask Ms. Hickey to come up now and give her remarks, the report that was just completed. Because honestly, we have not really had the opportunity to discuss it either as a commission yet. And then if anybody in the audience has questions of Ms. Hickey, you're more than welcome to ask them when she's finished with her report. So Margaret Hickey is a principal in the firm of Connolly and Hickey. She has written, I think, 4 of the CL grants that we've been able to attain. It's not easy to really get these grants. As I told everybody, our grant for the intensive level survey for the South End was not approved this year. So, but I think having received 7 grants within the past 10 years says something about the integrity of the commission and what we do to try to maintain the historic resources of Montclair. So, Ms. Hickey.
Okay. So, Margaret Hickey, Historic Preservation Specialist. Our firm was hired to continue the survey of the Upper Montclair commuter area that we began in 2024. And as part of this So what happened at the last survey area is we designate, so I actually wrote this before I was done because I was supposed to present last month, so a couple of the numbers are a little off. We did basically the core of the survey area, which went from Lorraine to the south, Mount Hebron to the north, the west side of Park Street to the east side of Valley Road, right? So sort of, and then this survey was basically for that perimeter along Lorraine Valley to the railroad, Mount Hebron, and Nassau, and a couple little streets at the top, and then the east side of Park Street, totaling 226 properties, 219 of those which were buildings, mostly residences, and there were a number of empty lots that are included in that 226. We determined that the period of proposed significance, or the period of significance of the area, is 1886 to circa 1948, which expands the period of significance, which is the time period in which basically the most development happened in this area, and that kind of defined how everyone perceives the neighborhood a few years from part one. And we also then, within that, determined contributing resources and non-contributing resources. So non-contributing resources are either properties that were built after 1948, buildings after 1948, or those that had been radically changed enough along their front facade to no longer reflect their original construction. And then within that non-contributing category, Montclair has subcategories of harmonizing, altered, and then intrusions, meaning that those buildings don't even match their neighbor, kind of thing. There's not too many of those. Actually, most of the properties that were non-contributing were considered harmonizing. So this, because the district took on more area, there's several maps. What we basically used is the 1986 Sanborn maps as our base. Now, of course, the properties on those have changed a little bit, but it just designates the area. So as you can see, the darker areas, bottom and top, are the newer areas that we just surveyed. The middle section is what we had determined the last time, and then the coding, the hatches and stuff like that show whether it's contributing, non-contributing, and various other. There's another thing. So little map that shows a little bit of Valley Road. So there's a number of maps here that just kind of show all the way up Valley Road, and then all the way up Park Street. So of all the properties, so 226, 187 of them were considered contributing. 39 of the properties were non-contributing, but 7 of those were empty lots. And then in designating the boundary, we actually excluded 4 properties that were on the peripheral and that post-date the period of significance. So 2 Laurel Place Plaza, 4 Laurel Place Plaza, 10 to 50 Belden Place, and 42 Mount Hebron Road were excluded. Well, if you drew a boundary, if we decided to go for a historic district in the future, we would recommend excluding those even from consideration in the boundary district. So I'm just going to go over I'm going to go through the slides and kind of just the highlights of the significance of the Upper Montclair commuter area. We do have to look at this holistically because it really is an area that goes from the railroad to Park Street. Just because we separated into 2 parts doesn't the history's still the same, right? So what really defines this property, or this area particularly, is the advent of the railroad and the fact that it came to this area and really brought about the residential development that we're seeing. So a self-promotion of the neighborhood in the New York Tribune in 1911, because Montclair was really trying to attract residents from New York and Newark to get away from sort of the city living. Gateway to the mountain and lake region of northern New Jersey. It links the old Manhattan, Bloomfield, Montclair, Upper Montclair, and many other picturesque suburban places by direct rail route. So that was sort of the advertisement for the railroad. The first Upper Montclair station was constructed in 1884 and then later enlarged. And then the station at Laura Plaza and Laura Place Plaza, which is the one that is mostly directly related to the Upper Montclair commuter area, along with the one that's in the Upper Montclair business district, was constructed in 1893 in the Tudor Revival style. I'm supposed to be like just zipping through these, okay? But this is just some characteristics. These are properties that are character defining of the district. So that station, Tudor Revival style, was already a popular style in the Upper Montclair commuter area at the time. Further development was then increased with the new trolley line in 1898, connecting Upper Montclair with the Oranges along Raleigh Road and down to Montclair proper. So the historical overview in the report, so we create a report with this, discusses how the streets were laid out, how the development started, really generating from the Upper Montclair Business District to the north to Mount Hebron. So Mount Hebron, which is the defining northern boundary, started as a 2-acre property in 1863, but by 1900 had expanded to 18 acres and today covers 30 acres. And then Immaculate Conception Cemetery, which covers 30 acres, was dedicated in 1895. So, and then 2 of the streets south of the cemetery, where the properties along these streets actually back up to Mount Hebron. There's only a few properties that face Mount Hebron, Nassau Road and Patton Place. They were developed in the 1920s by Aaron Godfrey, who was a dabbler in many industries before settling on real estate development. And then the final road in the district was Powder Court, which is in 1947. It was developed by the Carlisle Road Corporation, which specialized in constructing single-family houses for veterans of World War II. And their houses kind of show a distinct change in how the architecture developed. So this is one of the Carlisle Road corporations, where they incorporated the garages within the building, which kind of showed less reliance on the railroad and a greater reliance on the automobile, sort of changing the American suburb at that time. So other noteworthy houses include 1798 Valley Road, which is the home of artist James S. King, 473 Park Street, which I had here. This is a Tudor Revival that was designed by local architect Clifford C. Wendehack in 1926, who was inspired by the Tudor Revival, Colonial Revival, Norman, and Spanish Revival styles. And he actually designed a number of country clubs, golf clubs, and I've actually worked on a number of his properties because he's also done women's clubs as well. And a property like this would be considering a key contributing resource within the historic district. So lots of craftsman style. Colonial Revival is probably the most prominent architectural style within the district. Like I said, the simpler Colonial Revival, neoclassical, and then really, it's mostly residential. This is probably the key commercial property in the district or in the area. This is the James S. King residence, 1890. And this property is actually recognized individually by Montclair and by the New Jersey and National Register of Historic Places. Queen Anne, again, another simple Colonial Revival. So I prepared this for the September meeting. At that time, we were to finish up writing. That's done. Finish up the report. That's complete. And basically take our recommendations, which includes basically combining the two reports to see whether it would be a potential historic district. We do think it would be if the Historic Preservation Commission wanted to go in that direction. We did look at possibly combining it with the commuter, the business district, the Upper Montclair Business District, and we thought it'd be best as a standalone since it's primarily residential, and Lorraine sort of is a good boundary between the Montclair Business District and the Upper Montclair commuter area. And that's it. I may have talked a little fast.
Subsequently, we discussed about including the area that went down to Applegate Farm. That's what Mr. Street is here addressing. So where are we with that? Because on June 19th is the expansion of the study area for cultural resources, and on July 22nd, the council voted to include that. So where are we with that?
So because this had a deadline, we finished with this, and then with regard to Applegate, because Applegate is not in the database, what our plan is to just do an architectural description and a brief history of the area. And so this way you can use that as a means of determining whether you actually wanted to proceed with another intensive level survey or not. So we won't be making any recommendations as to whether it's historically significant. We're just going to do the baseline documentation. So this way, if you want to, you could use that to then possibly go for another grant.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So basically the July 22nd, we're not dealing with that. The June 19th.
No, I'm dealing with that, right? So we're not charging you for that.
Right.
So we've billed this out. We have a long history and relationship with Montclair and the HPC. I'll be honest, I questioned the Applegate designation in the master plan. So this is why we offered to see whether or not possibly that we could at least start to kind of look to see whether it's significant or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, wait just a second. So this concludes your report then?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so if we have questions from the audience, they can come up and ask you?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi.
Jason Street, 616 Grove Street, Upper Montclair.
Yes.
So I have a question in regards to, based on the map that you have on the website, it shows the area around the 616 Grove Street property.
Okay.
It's in pink here. It doesn't include the Applegate Farm property. It goes around the property.
Okay.
Two questions. One is, I noticed that we are designated here. We're not designated, but we have a blue dot, which states here, it's Preservation Montclair's inventory of historic properties. So I guess my question is, when was it, quote unquote, placed into the inventory of historic properties in Montclair? Because we never got notice of it.
Well, that was 1982. That was 1982.
Okay.
That was the historic survey structure from 1982 that the state.
It was just a survey.
Right, the historic survey,
Yep.
historic structure survey.
Okay. So, going back to my question, everything that's in pink here is the potential historic individual properties.
That's correct.
Okay, so the study that you're doing is only on the homes that are around Applegate Farm, it's not on Applegate Farm, correct?
That's my understanding. We are doing a few to the north and south of that, so this way I have context.
Okay, so my question, I guess, is, according to what you just said,
Mm-hmm.
the future survey, or the first survey that you're conducting after the 30th,
Right.
after the grant expired,
Right.
it's stating that you're doing the properties around Applegate Farm.
And,
Not-
and this,
not-
and the blue, and the pink, that current pink.
Why not?
Okay.
No, what I mean by around Applegate Farm, it says it's pink.
Oh, I see what you
Around.
mean. Okay.
That goes around the 616.
Well,
Road
it is
property.
called the Applegate Farm
Well, you're
Potential
calling
Historic.
it, but what
Right,
I'm saying
right.
is you're not surveying our property, correct?
I don't know for sure, but it's up to them if they tell me they want to or not to.
Secondly, I guess my question
Uh-huh.
is, knowing the property, knowing the history of that area,
Uh-huh.
who determined that pink area that's in the map?
That would have been the consultant who prepared the master plan.
That was just to add, in the 2016 historic preservation element, that was identified by a working group.
Right, I have their, I don't know their title or their entity. It was determined by Building Conservation Associates, 44 East 32nd Street, New York.
Okay. So I guess my question is, knowing, been here for almost 35 years, and knowing the history and knowing the Littlefields very closely, who used to own it for 3 generations prior to us,
Mhm.
we still talk on a regular basis. The Applegate Farm plot that Mr. Tinkham owned years ago covers all the way down to Yankataw Brook, covers all of Northeast School, covers all the way over to Buckingham. This is inaccurate information.
So can I be brutally honest? I questioned that district myself. So,
And these homes are nothing special. The homes that are around it really are just 5-level homes.
okay, so so 2 things, right? It did seem a little odd to me that it was on its own like that, since there was a district on either side of it.
And I feel bad for our neighbors.
Well, so what I do, just clarify, what I do does not automatically mean designation. It just means they're asking me to look at the properties for my professional opinion and put them in a historical context to determine whether a district would be strong enough. Like whether it's actually potentially be a historic district, but there's like 9 more steps after I'm done. So I did the Wheeler and the Oakcroft, and those are not historic districts currently, even based on the study and my recommendations.
So I just wanted to ask a question for clarity. So when you do the Applegate research, would that count as a survey form for the property? Because our local ordinance is set up for whenever an individual property has been surveyed, so it has one of those dots on it in the inventory, then it is subject to total demolition ordinance. So would the Applegate Farm research be like a precursor to a survey form?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes. It's not going to be a full survey form.
Okay, so it wouldn't automatically mean designation is a potential site and then subject to demolition?
That's right. This is
Okay.
more, the way I look at it is more of a way for you to start the process to see whether you want to proceed further. Like I said, I questioned that district, that potential district, the way it was written in the master plan. So it's always kind of bothered me. This is my 2nd time in this area, and I've worked in other areas of Montclair, to see why it was determined that way. That's where
Our
I'm
neighbors are
headed.
not happy.
I understand, but that doesn't mean
Not
what
really.
I do doesn't necessarily mean it puts restrictions on you,
Yeah.
okay? I'm correct in that, right?
Yes,
I mean, what I do
absolutely.
doesn't, I mean, Wheeler and Oakcroft, nothing's changed since I did the work. Okay?
Thank you.
Mr. Street?
This is our attorney.
I just want to let you know that properties are locally designated, and when they're locally designated, they're regulated, and I think that's what you're objecting to, the potential for regulation by the planning board in the master plan or by the governing body, not the Historic Preservation Commission. So we're very happy to have you here tonight and to understand what your thoughts and opinions are and to have your input. But we're not the body that designates anything. Okay?
Okay, you make recommendations because you're,
We do the research,
okay.
and we figure out, by hiring professionals, we figure out what's potentially designatable,
Well,
so to
we're happy to be
speak.
part of this community, and like I said, you can see I'm very passionate about Applegate Farm.
I understand. I just wanted you to know what the forums, different forums did.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Margaret. Are there any other questions from the community? Are there any questions from our commission? Our consultant? Oh, me.
Where is this document that she just presented, or where did we have access to it?
Yeah, where do we have access to it, Mark?
I haven't uploaded the presentation itself, but the final report and all of the survey forms are on our township website under historic preservation, and then there's a sub-tab for commuter area.
Okay.
For 1 and 2?
Yeah, both reports are on that same webpage.
Oh, okay,
for
I didn't see
commuter
that
area.
today. And just to know, all of the reports are on our website. And as Ms. Bowers started to say, we are governed by ordinances, so there's a process that has to occur before anything is designated. This is not a designation. This is really an opportunity, as one of our focus is to really identify and study the historic structures, the historic sites, and historic neighborhoods of Montclair, which, as we all know, we're losing every day. So that's really our focus. It's also in our bylaws. It's also on our ordinance when this commission was created in 1986. So do you want to come back? Please come up.
I also just wanted to clarify that the properties that were surveyed and presented on tonight, while not being formally historically designated, under our ordinance, they are now subject to total demolition approval, which is whenever a property is individually surveyed and then recorded with the State Historic Preservation Office. It is subject to total demolition approval, which means if you're demolishing more than 50% of all of the exterior facades, or more than 50% of any of the publicly visible facades individually, you'd have to file an application with the Historic Preservation Commission.
Yeah, so you clarified what I came up here for.
Okay.
And really what I was boiling down to is, being that you had mentioned that the 1982 survey that was conducted by the state of New Jersey back then basically triggered the blue dot for Applegate Farm to be on the list of a historic inventory
Right.
for Montclair. Question you just clarified was, being that you're doing a survey on the surrounding areas, how did that impact the homes, each individual home that's within that pink area that's being surveyed? So would they, obviously you clarified that every home
Right.
that's around in that pink area, they're subject to the demolition clause?
Right, so
Now that they've been surveyed?
Yeah, the ones that were included in
In the
the
pink area.
original proposal that was just east of Park Street and then around that central core. So that doesn't include the Applegate Farm properties. And from the consultant, she's saying that this research work that would be done on the Applegate Farm properties would be a precursor.
You're saying properties around Applegate, not Applegate Farm
Yes,
properties?
the Applegate
Okay.
Farm
District.
area
Yeah, okay.
would be researched to then determine if it should be surveyed. So it wouldn't be subject to total demolition
This is
based
a
on the
report,
work.
Pre-survey?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So once it does get to that point and it is surveyed, technically, every one of those homes will have blue dots on them? Yeah. Good, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? No. All right, well, with that, Margaret, do you have any closing remarks, or?
No, I mean, other than, no.
No, okay. So this is finalized now.
It is final, yes.
Okay, and then,
So if you have comments or corrections, please, we'll make edits.
Yes, that was going to be my question. So this is your final draft, and that, how many pages is it? What is it?
This is the binder that we received, thank you, so.
Okay.
The report itself is, I think,
All right.
200 something, and then there's about 600 pages of survey.
Okay, so when do you need our comments by? When does it get filed with the state?
It's already filed with the state.
But-
It had to be filed
By September 30th. So, but we're able to amend it?
That's correct.
Up until what time? Up until,
I don't think they have a time frame.
okay.
As long as I'm not billing you for it.
Okay. All right, so then why don't we say commissioners and the commissioners that aren't here within the next month, if we have any if you have any comments, to please send them to Margaret through Zana, through the office, okay? All right, thank you, Margaret. Thank you for your work. Okay, moving on, our next new business, Board of Adjustment Referral, application 2941, 105 Wildwood Avenue, which is hold on. This is a recommendation to the Board of Adjustment. Do you have anybody here from 105 Wildwood Avenue? Oh, please, come up. So our attorney will swear you in. Do you want to sit down?
I'm standing.
Okay. Our attorney will you identify yourself, and then our attorney will swear you in.
I'm Victoria Monte, the owner of 105 Wildwood Avenue.
Ms. Monte, raise your right hand. Will you tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony on this application to the commission tonight?
I will.
Go ahead.
So before you begin, I just will give a little introduction. The project description is the applicant proposes to demolish the existing detached two-car garage and construct a new and large garage in the same location. The new garage will measure 24 feet in depth and width with widened base to accommodate modern vehicles. The paved driveway will be widened in the area leading up to the garage. And the historic significance is this Wildwood Avenue area, which is a potential historic district, was primarily built between 1910 and 1929. This is as identified in our master plan, historic preservation of the master plan. Overall, the area consists of 2 to 3 story houses that exhibit a range of architectural styles and features. The houses are set back from the streets on lots that vary from medium to small in size. A number of these properties are Dutch colonial revival style, which feature distinctive entry porticos, brick stoops, and gambrel or gable roofs. We are looking at this property and the reconstruction of, or the construction of a new garage because you're seeking a variance, which will be determined not by us, but by the Board of Adjustment. And so what you are requesting is a side setback for accessory structures of 2.3 feet, where a minimum setback of 6 feet is required. The new garage aligns with the setback of the existing garage, which is proposed to be demolished and reconstructed. So with that, do you have a picture, is that?
Sorry, what did you want from me?
Oh, no, are you going to refer to your, we have the planning report with pictures and a site plan, but are you just,
Do you need me to move this?
No, so that's just there for your reference if you need it, but you can just give like an explainer on why you're proposing this project.
Well, the garage is already kind of falling apart. It was falling apart. The roof was caving in when we moved in. And we would like to rebuild it and make it a little bit wider just to allow play space for my son and for 2 cars. The lot is narrow. We don't have a shed for any outdoor storage or outdoor toys or decorations for seasons. And that's why I want this variance.
Okay, but just to clarify, the garage will be set at, it's a non-conforming variance now. It would be set at the same distance from the
House?
Side?
Yes.
Yes, okay. And would you received Mr. Smolin, our consultant's report?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything, before he goes over it, maybe Mrs. Smolin, you could go over the report that you, and then if you have any questions, then we'll discuss it.
Sure. Good evening. So the house is located in the Wildwood Avenue area, potential historic district. It's set on a block with 2- and 3-story houses, medium to small lots. And the property that we're talking about tonight at 105 Wildwood has a garage that I believe was substantially damaged about 20 years ago in a storm, so much of it has been rebuilt. So the present state that it's in right now, the structure retains a pretty low degree of historic integrity. It's at best loosely related to the primary house on the structure. It certainly has significant material degradation. The ridge of the roof is sagging in several of the pictures. The subject structure, I don't believe is warranted for preservation. I think it's lost any of the historic integrity it once had. It's not conveying any of the characteristic workmanship of the period that it was built in. And I think the proposed structure is modest in scale. It's keeping the 2 individual garage door openings, which is great and consistent with historic development patterns, and I think overall a compatible garage addition to the Wildwood Avenue Historic District. Do you have any questions on my report?
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the commissioners?
About the proposal? No.
Okay. Any comments from commissioners as far as the variance? Go ahead.
Yeah, I have some comments just about the proposed new elevations. I don't have a problem with you building a new garage, but maybe you could you could draw upon some of the details of the existing garage, like the windows. I see the windows are divided into 4 panes, where the existing windows are divided into 6 panes.
So what do you?
Here, let me find it on the website here.
So just to clarify, this is an advisory review ahead of the Board of Adjustment, so the commission will make any recommendations, and then that will be included in a report that goes to the Board of Adjustment, and then they can choose to make some of the comments binding or not,
Okay.
as a condition of approval.
Are the existing windows of the existing garage, can you visualize them?
Kind of.
Not really,
I don't
but
really
they're
get it.
drawn on the plans you presented here.
It's filled with spiders and falling apart.
The scale of them are different now than what you're proposing.
Okay.
So my comment, just me, I would comment and say, it'd be nice if you kept the same scale of the windows on this larger garage. You're making it bigger, at least scale it down where you can. My other comment would be the back. You can't see this, so I don't have any other comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Giordano? Mr. Sweeney or Mr. Rooney?
I don't have comments.
Okay, and so the question about the variance then, does that, has no bearing on?
You could have avoided the variance if you just moved it over a couple feet, right? You wouldn't be here.
Illegally?
What?
Illegally?
No,
Oh.
legally.
That would have
Oh, we
been,
moved it, oh, yeah. We would, but we would have to repave the entire driveway because the driveway is already in line with the entrance of the garage. and it is a narrow driveway, so the driveway abuts the property next door and then our house.
I understand that.
Yeah.
So our recommendation would be to keep the scale of the windows and the same fenestration of the windows, correct, John?
Yes.
And that there's no issue with the variance that, as Mr. Smolin has indicated in his report. Okay? All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck. Okay, our next application is application 2943, 14 College Avenue. Is anyone? Hi. So, just hold on. You could sit down if you're more comfortable. Whatever's more comfortable. Okay, this, as I mentioned, is a referral to the Board of Adjustment. It is, the applicant proposes to remove the existing garage door and header and convert the space into a home office. The garage opening will be closed with new siding, and a new 3-pane window and casing will be added to the facade. The siding, window, and casing will match the existing features. Landscaping will be added to the area immediately in front of the new window. The asphalt on the paved driveway will be replaced with hardscape pavers. This is in the, it's located on the west side of College Avenue. It is located within the proposed district of Montclair Heights proposed district, as identified in the master plan. So, as the applicant is seeking a variance from Montclair to prevent parking in the front yard. Removing the garage would require that vehicle be parked in the paved area between the dwelling and the street. So, as you heard before from Zanab, we'll be giving recommendations that will then go forward, and we'll also be commenting on the variance. So could you identify, give your name and identify yourself as your relationship to the project? And our lawyer will swear you in.
My name is Eric Schultz. I'm the architect for the project.
Hi, Mr. Schultz, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth on the application tonight in your testimony to the commission?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so you have a PowerPoint image too.
Right. I assume you all have the drawings.
But we have the drawings, yes, and we have the planning department, the photographs.
Right, perfect. So I think I'm just going to refer to those.
Great.
So yes, we're here for variance to maintain a driveway in the front of the house because the homeowners want to convert the garage to an office. Just to note, on A1 is the existing garage, which shows the interior size of it is quite small, 16 feet long by 9.5 feet wide, which is not large enough to fit either of the cars that they own, including a typical 4-door sedan, and I would argue not really large enough for even a compact car to function easily. So they want to convert that to a home office, which is shown on A2. That's the floor plan showing access to the interior. A3 is the existing garage door elevation. And A4 is the new windows, which are an identical match for the living room windows on the left side of the page. So it would be same picture window with two identical double hungs at the same height. So I would just say that with regard to the streetscape, on this block there are 12 houses, and 5 of them have garages, and only 4 are of this identical footprint. So we're not proposing a change to the footprint, the roof eave, just changing the garage door to a window assembly that matches the living room window.
Could you just clarify, did you just say that out of the 12 houses, 4 have converted garages?
No, they are of the same type, cottage-style type with the same footprint. The other 8 have a different footprint or don't have a garage or are a different type of colonial.
Okay,
So,
okay.
so I guess my question would be for the commission is that garage door a sort of important and desirable feature to keep, or would it be an upgrade to have a consistent window with a landscaping below it and then converting the asphalt to landscape patio pavers?
Okay,
And just one other note, the other 3 houses of this type have a deeper lot where you can fit 2 cars in tandem. This lot is too shallow, and so the cars currently, you can see on the photographs, they're parked side by side, one on the asphalt, one on the pavers. So we're proposing to upgrade that landscaping by having planters in front of the wall and then converting it all to pavers.
by making what all pavers?
The parking area in
Oh,
the front. If
the-
you can
the-
see
the-
on the T1, the title page shows the existing condition, where you have about 2/3 of the driveway is asphalt and 1/3 is pavers. On T2 is what we're proposing to do, which is make the entire driveway area patio pavers. And they would park, the 2 cars would park on pavers, no asphalt.
Okay, so then I'll ask the first question. The thought is to continue to park 2 cars.
Yes.
Okay, and you need it, so the variance is whether or not parking can be allowed.
The code says you need to be able to put 1 car behind the front of your house. So in this case, it's the garage. Sometimes people take care of that by parking on the side of the house.
Right.
But to restrict parking in the front yard.
Right. So the side of the house, is there any way that you can, rather than, is there any, how wide is the side yard that you could fit?
So we looked at putting a driveway to the south, where you see a 10-foot setback. One issue with that is that it adds a variance, which is having the cars within the 4-foot setback on the side. Secondly, there's a...
So, excuse me, you would be requesting 2 variances? Is
If
that
we,
it?
if we proposed the driveway to be on the south lot line,
Right,
we would need a second variance. Because one variance is just parking in front of in the front yard without a garage.
right.
And that's what we're here for. If we were to move the driveway to the south property line, we would have a second variance, which is be parking in the within 4 feet of the side yard setback.
So a different variance, that's all.
It's a different,
Well, I think it's a second, because I think we're still not allowed to park in the front yard without a garage. That was my understanding of.
So the ordinance specifies that between the front facade of your house and the curb, parking should not occur in that area. So essentially,
Okay.
don't park in the front yard. So if like you're off to the side and it's beyond that, front pane of your house, then it would comply.
Okay, then in that case.
Then
with
you
a
would require the-
10-foot wide driveway.
Right.
We would need a variance because the driveway is 1 foot away from the.
Yes.
So we would, one way or another, we had 2 variances.
Right.
For that. That's sort of a zoning issue by doing that, but then the other 2 issues are, we would also be wiping out all the trees along that south property line that shade the house from the south. And then the more pragmatic issue is, you can see that there's a telephone power pole shared by Verizon and PSE&G that has a guide wire that currently would block the access to such a driveway. And the owners have reached out to PSE&G and Verizon. They've said that because that pole is the last of the line, that guide wire is holding up, it's the last thing holding that group of wires together, and they were not So it was to be quite a challenge to get that moved, because the physics of it is very difficult to move it north. And then it's, of course, would be whole nother issue to have them move it to the south in front of their neighbor's property. So we did pursue that, and that's why we're back here, because that did not seem practical.
Okay, all right, thank you. I just wanted to clarify that. So we'll open up to questions now from the commissioners.
I have a
Sean?
question on your plan A2. I see this is a home office, is that it?
Yes,
I see 4 desks in this home office.
they have 3 children.
Okay, so these aren't,
Currently, the sunroom
Okay.
is the homeowner's home office. She's works from home.
okay. So
And she
it's
has
for
3
the
kids in the
kids.
dining
Oh,
room
okay.
sharing the
That's
dining
not-
table.
We just don't want more parking to have to happen because they're
Right,
having people
right.
work in their home office, so,
Right.
yeah, okay. That's my only question. Stephen have any report on this?
Well, we want to do questions. For anybody else have questions?
I have a couple of questions. Just, how long have you been in the house?
I'm the architect.
Oh, you're the,
I'm
how long
not
has the owner been
homeowner.
in the house?
About 5 years now.
Excuse me?
About 5 years now.
Okay, 5 years now, okay. And is there parking on the street overnight?
Uh,
Would have to get.
Jeena, do you want to just come up and use the mic? Thanks.
We would have to get a permit, I believe.
I swear.
You have to,
Press the
you have
push
to be
button,
sworn
yeah.
in.
Oh. Hello.
Raise your right hand. Is your testimony going to be truthful tonight on this application?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no
Okay.
problem.
Third question.
We
the-
would have to get a permit for overnight parking, but I don't love the idea of doing overnight parking because we're right across from Bradford Elementary School. So drop-off happens and it becomes a one-way street, and it would just congest the drop-off situation further if we were parking in the street.
Okay. The reason for this conversion is, you understand to use it for a home office, and is that something that cannot be done currently?
No. We have a sunroom, as our architect had mentioned, that is part playroom, part home office at the moment. And beginning in 2026, I'm going to have a career shift, which is going to require me to work further at home. Right now, I only work 2 days. And the biggest reason is I have 3 children, and there's no place for them to study. When they were younger, that's fine, but my children are getting older. My oldest daughter has dyslexia. She has tutors who come, and right now we have a tutor on the kitchen table, and my 2 younger ones in and out right around there. So it's just not a great situation, and as you can tell, we don't have a large footprint.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
No problem.
Nick? Okay, so then we'll turn it over to Mr. Smolin and his report. Did you read his report?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Schultz and Ms. Moon. Okay.
I couldn't definitively figure out when the house was built. My guess was 1945. Do you know if that's accurate, by the way? I was between 1943 and 1947.
I don't know. I didn't, but
Okay, well, we'll go with
roughly 1950, I would say.
Okay, so post-World War II. The home is located in the Montclair Heights Potential Historic District, which was largely built out by World War II. This is one of, I think, the rare examples, this kind of block of post-war infill. A big component of post-war infill was the attached garage. In this case, it's the little street-facing one. It's present in pictures going back to the 1960s that I was able to find. It's definitely original. And it is a character-defining feature of post-World War II Cape Cod-style houses. And I believe its removal would create a very atypical and uncommon condition where everybody's expecting there to be a garage at the end of a driveway, and there would no longer be one. And to add on to that, there's now a certainty of cars being parked in the front yard, which would obscure visibility to the house itself. Of the handful of other houses on the block that have the same footprint or typology, have any of them removed their front-facing garages?
So,
Not on College Avenue, but two of them on Carlisle, the
Adjacent
block
street.
adjacent to it have.
5 and 23 Carlisle.
Okay. That's all I
And just
had.
on the point around it being congested when there's drop-off, the garage today, as Eric had mentioned, is not functional. So either way, whether we keep it or not, it's not a place that can functionally house a car. So to me, like, I understand your point, but it's not actually something that will help with the congestion.
Okay, thank you. So we'll open up for comment now. Mr. Giuliano?
I'm supportive.
On the 2 points, so we're discussing the variance with the parking in the front.
Yeah.
And then also the facade change. I just
Yeah.
wanted to mention that to everybody.
Just want to clarify that what variance can be discussed, like it's not an approval or denial. It's
Right.
just, yeah.
But we're recommending whether it should be approved or not. So, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, I mean, on the topic of the variance, I mean, I know we're not deciding it, but it's pretty much a technical variance to me. Your garage is not functioning as a real parking space. You would have two cars in the front all the time anyway. You see that's the case with all of these houses that have the double wide driveway. There's two cars parked in the front all the time, and nobody uses their garage to park the car in it. So if I were weighing in on the variance, I would be supportive of it. I didn't at first have an issue with the lack of the garage door on the front facade. I think it looks fine without it, but to Mr. Smollen's point, I mean, you could just as easily put windows in and trim it out to make it look like a garage door, and it's just windows so that it keeps the fabric looking the same, but the interior could still just be a finished space, and at the front wall, maybe you just have higher windows, because they look like they're part of a garage door on the outside, and it could just be done with trim. And the space could be repurposed as a garage if somebody ever wanted to. So overall, I mean, I think that would be my only recommendation.
And I think that's a good point, because that would have been something that I was going to ask.
Yeah.
So I'd like to ask your opinion, Mr. Smalling, on that.
Yeah, I was going to get to that. It's a very common design solution on this bizarre road we have in Hoboken called Court Street that
Mhm.
has a bunch of garages that absolutely no one can get into, and people have very, very confined living space, and they keep the carriage house door, they insulate behind it, they don't use it as a garage, and they get to occupy the space behind.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Sweeney?
I'm comfortable with that last comment because I think there's a functional need. I don't think it changes the overall dimension, size, or shape, or anything. That if you can, and the only thing that appears to be historical is that it's a garage door. So, and the garage door is only significant because of the types of windows at the higher level. So I would be comfortable and would recommend that it be, at least for historical purposes, it's acceptable to me, at least as a commissioner, and provided the windows are a little higher. That's all.
Mr. Rooney?
I don't have any questions.
No comments?
I don't have any comments. I think the garage as the outside wall is appropriate. And I think it is historic in the sense that there are other infill housing in the neighborhood that are of this type. So it represents a type, that's all. So I would support it if it kept the garage door.
And how about as a design solution to make it look as though it was a garage door? Is that what you're saying?
You can build a wall inside
Right.
that garage door.
Right.
Okay? Or you can, you'll work out some details on how to weatherproof it or how to seal it or whatever. unless the garage door is in terrible shape, I would tend to do that, but, you know, that's,
Just so the consensus is to,
Oh, wait, I have a comment.
Yeah.
And it concerns the variance of parking in the front yard, is, on this photograph that you've given us, I don't know if it's backwards or what, but it looks as though the pole for the PSE&G is to the left of the house as you're looking at the house?
right, so it's on it's to the left, so if we were to put the driveway there, I'm saying that it would not be practical, because we would have to move the guide wire.
Right, okay, so my question would, my suggested recommendation, where the garage is now, as you're looking at the house on the right, to rather than park in front of your door, which I think is, I don't, anyway, how about widening the driveway to the right? Would you have enough?
property line.
But you'd be again, you'd have to go for a variance, but we would support the variance if you went to the.
To the right, to the north.
To the right, right.
Yeah, we considered that, but again, it creates a second variance, side yard setback.
Well, you're going for
but-
one variance anyway.
Right.
You have to ask you.
Yeah, I mean, that's another option. I don't know if the neighbor would necessarily be happy about that, but,
I don't know if we have enough space.
well, I think what you're suggesting is shifting the double wide parking area 4 feet
To the right, as you look at the house, so that your
Right.
car isn't right in front of your front door.
Sure.
I think that is, lessens the burden of parking in the front yard. What does everyone else think?
I don't think there's enough room to shift it all the way over, so you're sort of
Exactly.
half in, half out.
It would be partially, it would be an improvement, but it's a variance to partially move the car out of the way of the,
How wide
Front
is the paved area, the new paver area, how wide is that altogether?
that's essentially 18 feet.
18 feet.
It's existing 18 feet. It just would be 18 feet of all paver instead of
Okay, got it.
partially asphalt.
And the garage is 9 feet wide?
Interior 9.5.
Yeah, yeah. So you can park a car there, you can park a car, you divide that 18 foot into 2 cars, you got 9 and 9. You can park in that garage.
You can't
Not a
open the
big
door, but.
Can't open the door.
Um,
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so I think we're, the idea of the design solution with having as a recommendation, again, as keeping the garage door there intact, not making it look like the window to the left of the door.
Can I make a comment on that? If that happens, then we would have to throw up a drywall, right? So that from the inside, it doesn't look like a garage door, it looks like a functional office. If I do that, it limits sunlight significantly into this space.
No, you'd still have windows.
But that's where we were going to put a window. It would be, and the side window is like very close to our other house. It would be very limited sunlight that comes into that space. And it's a place where I was hoping my children would be able to read and study, and it would just be unfortunate if we would have to limit sunlight that comes into this space and make it darker for this purpose. So that's the trade-off that I'm hoping that the commission can consider.
Okay, so what do you think?
Well, the top of this garage door has all windows,
Right, I would think
so
that it
you're
would.
not cutting out all the light.
But wouldn't we be putting up a drywall from the inside?
I think they're just recommending replacing the garage door, I'm assuming with an insulated version of the same thing that was permanently non-functional. Which is the
But from the
fixed.
inside
From
too,
the
it
inside,
would
you're
look
looking
like
at it would look like a garage door from
door.
the inside,
That's not ideal.
which is, I guess, her objection is that.
Right. So that's our first recommendation. The second one would be to the, about eliminating the need to park at the front door to going for a second variance to increase the width of the driveway to the right of the, here.
Shifting both spaces over by about 5 feet is what
Right.
you're recommending. Understood.
Right, and if that's all paved, if the car kind of drifts over in front of the door, then, you know, when you park, but I think shifting that to increasing that to the right as a recommendation the driveway to the right would lessen the burden on the front yard parking variance.
What's the space, how much space is to the right?
About 5.5 feet,
5.5
5.5, but create a second variance.
So you're going to be able to move it over 4 feet, maybe.
Exactly.
You're not going to get a whole car there, so.
Yeah, but you're not going to have to put it in front of the door.
What's that?
It's,
Yeah, but it's half in front of the house. It's going to be half in front of the door. I think it's,
well, we have to make a recommendation on front yard parking. Are we trying to lessen the view or of front yard parking, or just leave it the way it is now and then the car is in front? Again, this is a recommendation.
Sure.
yeah, I guess this goes to whether it's changing the nature of not that they're parking there, but if everyone parked 2 cars.
Right.
And we started paving everything in front of every house.
Right.
I don't think we would want that, so.
No.
Well,
This would create
again, the only
precedence.
reason we're proposing side by side is because we don't have the depth for tandem like of the neighbors. Her neighbors all have the depth to park tandem. So, right, so they only need 10 feet.
Right.
Got it.
We need almost 20 because we don't have the depth. Otherwise, the back of the car is on the sidewalk.
Okay, so we have 2 recommendations, correct? First about the garage door, a design solution for the garage door, and then the second one to create the driveway, which necessitates putting in your application for a second
Right.
second variance. But I think that that's a more amenable, it's a more visually acceptable than what you're seeing now. If you can scoot the cars over in front of the what's going to be the garage, or what
Sure.
was a garage.
Sure, understood. And so the first recommendation is the garage door would be a replica, but it would be 6 inches above grade, above a curved concrete foundation wall.
Mhm.
Assuming that's acceptable, right?
Okay.
Okay? All right.
Understood.
Oh, you have that, Sano? Okay, great.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, good luck, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, our next application is application 2944, 24 William Street. This is also a Board of Adjustment referral. Is anyone here to speak to this application?
I don't see the property owner.
Oh,
This is which one? This is G? Yeah.
I tried to
No
call
one
them
here,
and
huh?
sent them an email, so.
oh, so, this is a pretty
Extensive.
extensive discussion, so, well, yeah, 24 William. So,
Do we push it to next?
can we,
to-
yes,
till
let's
someone
ask our
shows up?
attorney if the.
It's just an advisory review, so it doesn't have any legal proceeding around it.
Should we just go forward with discussing it?
No. I don't think so. The applicant should be here to speak to it, right? I don't think that makes any sense to make comments to an empty room.
Right, right.
think it's up to you. I think the property owner had noticed, right?
I would just as.
So the property, all right, so the property owner had notice from 24 William Street. The property owner is not here. Does this have a date to go to the Board of Adjustment?
It was tentatively scheduled for November 5th. I don't think we've ever done it, though, that we would give an advisory review and make recommendations without the person being here.
Okay, well, I think this is a pretty intense discussion, so I would say that we should.
What our recommendation would be to, I guess, to who? The planning?
To zoning board.
Yeah, that the Historic Preservation Commission can,
Okay, it's
cannot
up to you, I would say.
approve
If you
any
wanna
of
make
this
those
until they
comments.
come before us.
Yeah, you'd have to be requesting to the zoning board that they move it back, and they would have to gain his consent, because they're on a clock just like you're on a clock.
Right, that's
even
my-
though it's
If you
advisory.
have comments, I think you can share them, but obviously there wouldn't be a back and forth.
Yeah, what you can do, and the alternative is what the municipal land use law says, and that is, you can discuss it here, present your report either orally or in writing to the zoning board.
Yeah.
Go to the zoning board meeting.
Okay.
That's up to you. I guess if you wanted to have, sorry for being a little strong with it, if you wanted to have a discussion with them, that wouldn't obviously be possible, then you have comments to forward those on to the zoning board for November 5th.
Okay, November 5th?
Yeah.
Well, okay, well, why don't we ask my fellow commissioners?
Okay. Whether we're going to discuss it or not?
Without the owner or architect or anybody.
Well, it gives us the ability to make all sorts of comments,
Right.
right? So, if they're not here, so I can jump in.
Okay,
There's no questions, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, Steve, you feel that we should make our recommendations, yes or no? Mr. Rooney? Mr. Sweeney?
I don't have any comments, except that I like to have people here you can ask questions to.
Right, I think we all do,
And
but,
so, if we could defer it, that would be my preference.
but according to
we can't.
according to our attorney, can you repeat that, please?
Sure. So you can defer it if you want to, but that's meaningless if the zoning board doesn't adjourn it with his consent. They're not entitled, if they're up against the clock, to just adjourn it, because we would like them to do that because he didn't come here. Whenever there's an adjournment, you have to actually ask for the consent to adjourn from the applicant.
Okay, do we require the applicants be present?
No.
We don't. So it could be simply submitted and we could make comments. We don't need anyone here for questions.
No, but it very rarely happens. I think
Yeah,
only,
it rarely happens, and you could be commenting on something that he could, clarify or say why he objects to it, or, obviously it's a disability, but if you want to make a recommendation to the zoning board, my advice would be to go and discuss it.
Otherwise, we're not going to be able
So
to.
you
Right.
can come to a recommendation.
right, which I would agree with.
It's one of, seems of necessity, but normally we're speaking to the applicant.
Right,
And so it's somewhat of a waste of our time.
no,
No, we're
we're,
speaking
It's
to
not
the
like we're
plan,
gonna
we're
listen.
speaking to the planning board.
Yeah, no,
The zoning board.
Zoning board, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know, but we're also speaking to the applicant, that they're usually
Yeah.
listening to.
Will they get a copy of our?
yeah,
Immediately after this meeting, I'll share a copy of the report with the applicant as well. So if you wanted, you can request a response from them. If you have a specific question, I can help facilitate that.
okay, all right.
When will the planning board hear it?
No,
The
it's
zoning board is
November 5th,
November
So
5th, yes.
we really have to.
right. And Mr. Giuliano, how do you feel?
I think we should discuss it.
Okay, then let's go ahead. And we have this great report from Mr. Smolin, which I think gives us very good guidance. So, why don't we start, John, you're ready to go. These are comments now. All right.
Comments. And it's mostly directed to the front facade. in two different things. There's some peaked, I don't know what it is, there's some sort of peak and a fake roof in front of it. I don't know what it is. It changes the slope and the feeling for the existing. I don't know if that's applied, but I think the front facade should remain as much as possible. Now, I realize that interior rooms get laid out differently. I'm not a fan of, in the historic building, all the windows are pulled apart. They're symmetrical to the facade. In this case, he's ganging, or whoever's ganging, 3 windows together on the ground floor with 2 doors and ganging 2 windows upstairs. I would say that he should look at separating out all those windows. I would also look at potentially, if he's turning this into a 2-family, is what I see happening here, why he needs 2 doors and why he can't arrange this so he has 1 door like it exists now. That's what happens on the house next door.
It's an existing 2-family.
It's an existing
Yeah,
2-family?
the property is currently a 2-family property.
Where's the exhibit?
So the first apartment is on the ground floor, and the second apartment comprises the second and attic floors.
Before we continue, maybe I should just give a little introduction to mean that we're describing this, or discussing it. The applicant proposed to expand the dwelling by extending the building footprint to the rear and adding a 3rd story. The existing 2-story rear bump out will be widened to match the full width of the house, and the addition will extend approximately 2.58 feet further into the rear yard beyond the current bump out. The rear additions will be incorporated into the vertical expansion of the home. A portion of the front elevation of the existing 1st and 2nd floors will be demolished to integrate the new 3rd floor, which will be stepped back 5 feet from the front plane of the 1st and 2nd floor. The overall height of the building will increase from 28.3 feet to 33 feet. The structure will be considered a 3-story building due to the width of the shed dormers. And one of the variances, they're looking for 4 variances, but the most important, which I just described, is to permit a dwelling with 3 stories where 2.5 stories is the maximum permitted. So that's what that added height on the building. They're also asking for a front yard setback. Well, it's already non-conforming. And the 3rd floor addition would be stepped back 5 feet from the front plane of the lower floor. That's why it's stepped back, so that they can take their, that's, for the variance. And then the other variance is the east side setback of 3.27 feet was in alignment with the existing dwelling. This variance is required for both a rearward expansion and the 3rd floor addition. And then, and again, it's to permit off-street parking for 2 vehicles where 4 spaces are required, because I guess it's 2-family, or, okay. So we're looking at variances, and most of them, or the majority of them, are dealing with the 3rd floor, making it a 3-story building as opposed to 2.5-story, which is really what the neighborhood is like. So John, you were started.
Okay, so my comment was not necessarily about the 2-family. I guess it's already 2-family, but it doesn't have 2 doors facing the street. The house next door has 1 door facing the street, and I see 2 mailboxes. So obviously, you go into the door, you're in a hallway, you go upstairs, or you go into the apartment. So I would suggest a layout where there's only 1 door on the facade. Again, all these things, is whatever we can do to reduce the scale of people's wanting to expand, not change their, I see the need, but to reduce the scale of what they're doing. I don't know what the this looks like some sort of alpine roof shape, okay, which, I would say forget that.
Well, that would
And-
go with granting the variance for a three-story building.
Well, I'm just saying this shape.
Yeah, this,
Yeah,
yeah. Or this,
yeah.
okay.
Well, where is that? I can't even tell
This is
where
what-
that
This
is.
is what they're adding.
And what is this?
That's a good question.
Okay, I'm just saying, get rid of the alpine roof shape and take the dormers and slope them in the same angle as the front roof. They have another 2 feet they can go up to help do that before they exceed 35 feet, which is the max. You know, it's 35 feet or 2.5 stories. They're trying to get 3 stories, but they're not, they could add 2 feet and achieve that pitch. As far as adding, you know, there's a lot of detail that I would say they should replicate the spindles on the railing. You know, they should replicate the columns in the front. I see a note about adding veneer stone to the steps. I would say no to that. And I saw some letter of response somewhere, it just came today. There was a response, I
Oh, there
think, to
was?
some of Stephen's comments. I was going to say, the other thing is vinyl siding. We don't normally approve, but it sounds like he's willing to install hardy, you know, board to replicate, you know, wood siding, which I think we, in general, find acceptable. Can you see the front elevation here? It's hard to tell from this photograph. Are these windows 1/1, or are they?
Yeah, they look like they're 1/1.
Okay, well, I would say new windows should follow along, you know, and do that as well. Those are my comments.
Okay, and window fenestration. Mr. Rooney? Can I just jump in quickly while you're thinking? You know, they don't necessarily need to do that entry at the front. They could create an entry for the downstairs unit in the back as well. There's other ways to do it, right? So,
Recommendation is a second entry, but not at the front.
not at the front.
Okay.
Keep the location of the existing front door.
Okay.
How does that work then?
That's not our problem. That's not our problem.
I'm going to suggest that they're rebuilding this entire house, if you look carefully.
Right.
So they have the ability to work with the design a little bit and
Let's just say
solve
that.
some of these things, yeah.
But they're keeping the footprint, so they don't have to come for a demo.
What's that?
They're keeping the original footprint, except maybe the back.
I'm talking about the interior, how they
Right.
make the
That's not
exterior
our-
work.
that's
That's
not-
not, you know.
Does any, Mr. Sweeney, do you have a comment?
No, I had a first question.
Who
Why
are
is
you
the
going to ask?
Who are you gonna
overall
ask?
height of
Who are you
the-
going to ask?
Huh?
Who are you going to ask?
Whoever the
This is a commission within
Why
the,
did the overall height change from 2808 to 32?
Because
I'm
they're adding another story. This is becoming three stories as opposed to.
This is 2.5 stories right now, this house.
Yeah.
They're going to make the top story a full third story with proper elevation for seal, so it's going up.
So it's being, the height being added, so
Yeah.
it's not just adding dormers to,
Well, they're requesting a variance to go up to create it 3 stories as opposed to
No,
2.5.
I understand.
It's not dormer, I
I
think
was
is,
simply making the distinction of a lot of 2.5-story houses by adding dormers, become 3 stories without getting higher. This is not the case
Well,
here.
that's
Yeah,
not the
they're
case.
doing
There are other
both.
rules of the road
They're doing
that
both.
apply to dormers and how big the dormer can be on a facade and so on. So this is a third
You answered
floor.
my question or my comment. It seems like it's such a material change in the overall structure and size.
Right, and this is in a proposed historic district, Frog Hollow,
Yeah, that's-
which are working housing. Mr. Giuliano? And then we'll listen to Mr. Smolin's report. And we'll try to incorporate all this, okay, Sada?
Yeah, I mean, I think John covered most of it. I think the back form looks better than the front,
Yeah.
frankly. I like that they just started a new roof gable steep from the top of the second floor and just did 2 dormers coming out of it, whereas the front is like these 2 gables, one on top of it. It just looks like
Right.
kind of a mess on the front.
Yeah.
I would suggest they just bring the dormer, or keep the dormer on the front, at the depth that it's at, but take the front gable and raise it up.
But also,
Can I just
And
make-
eliminate the 2 gables, just have one.
We keep calling these dormers.
Yeah.
They're not
not
dormers.
really dormers,
They're
but we're
they're
trying
really,
to
they have a
make
little
them
strip of the
look
roof
like it.
running in front of it that makes
Yeah.
it look like a dormer, but they're not, it's a floor.
Yeah.
it's a floor, and that's what one
Yeah.
of the variances is. So our
Yeah.
recommendation would be that they not be able to gain this variance to create a 3-story house on, what street are we on? On William Street.
Yeah, I mean, I think 3 stories is a big ask
It's-
there.
right.
It's 3 stories, it's already
It
an
overwhelms
undersized lot.
it overwhelms the neighborhood.
Yeah, there's
Okay,
no
so that's the
precedent for
number
it.
1. And anything else?
No, that's all.
Okay.
I mean, if they were to get approved, I have a ton of design recommendations, but I think 3 stories is kind of a tall order.
Right,
Anyway, I wouldn't really be supportive of that.
okay. I think we're all in agreement with
Yeah.
that. Mr. Smolin?
I'll be brief because I know it's getting late and I don't want to be redundant. I think the easiest way to understand what's proposed here is like putting a dictionary book on top of the house and then unfolding the covers and leaving a few of the pages. It's a compound gable that's being created. I think the only admirable part of the project on the front there is keeping that lancet window on the 3rd floor, which if they do choose to simplify the form of the roofs, I think would be great to preserve in some way, as that is definitely original to the house from 1887. It's a folk Victorian structure. It's part of a series of similar scale dwellings on William Street. The pitched gable roof is definitely a character-defining feature. Its architectural integrity comes from it being a simple, narrow form worker housing cottage, and the kind of modest proportions of the existing building are really being dramatically altered by this addition, and I think it harms the streetscape, so the context would suffer from this addition. It's definitely not reversible. There's like interlocking ridges, and there'd be no way to restore the form of the original house should this happen. The applicant did reply to my report with a September 5th letter, and it's great to hear that they are open to using fiber cement instead of vinyl, that they would frame the lattice work, and it sounds like maybe work with the commission on some other questions related to architectural details. But I think big picture, there's a problem with adding a 3rd floor addition
Oh,
here.
yeah, I would agree, absolutely. So if you hear from them, if they wanted to have a discussion, maybe design review, we could do that, okay?
That
All right,
sounds
but
good.
in the meantime, we have nixed the variance for the 3 stories. The facade the front facade needs to be worked, the window fenestration and placement, it needs to be redone. Only 1 door facing the street, no veneer on the steps, a hardy board. I didn't see the letter from the applicant, the response to Mrs. Smolin, but the idea that they're willing to accept hardy board is great. And the fact that they're keeping let's be a little positive, the lancet window remains.
Okay, I got all
And
that.
anything they rebuild on the front porch, like the spindles, the railing, you know, I don't know if they're what's drawn doesn't make any sense.
Right.
So there's no detail there.
Right, and as far as the one variance that they're requesting for 4-car parking, 4 cars, it looks like they're going to stack them up. I can't really tell, but in the back and then in the driveway. So I don't think that the 4 cars as opposed to 2 cars is a hindrance.
Okay.
So that was a variance.
Yes.
Okay. Any other comments then from us? No? Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
Our next application is 2025-25, 629 Valley Road. This is SS Chang, and this is a C of A application. Yes, this is a C of A application, and hello.
Hi, good evening.
I'm going to introduce the application, and then we'll swear you in. And okay, so the applicant is requesting a certificate of appropriateness for changes to the Lorraine Avenue frontage. The proposal includes demolishing the existing stucco facade and installing a brick facade with glass windows and doors. A fabric awning is proposed above the storefront windows, as well as a wall-mounted business sign. The eastern facade will be recovered with brick to match Lorraine Avenue storefront. The proposal also separates the property into two retail spaces. No changes are proposed to the Valley Road. This is, as I mentioned, a certificate of appropriateness because the subject property is identified as a harming building in the 2006 nomination report for the Upper Montclair Historic District. The property was constructed in 1934 and then altered in 1955 and 1992. And we'll remember it as the athletic, formerly the Gap building on Valley Road. So, could you introduce yourself and your association with the building?
Sure. My name is Gregory Schwartz. I am the architect representing the client on this project. And, yeah, I'm ready to go.
Thank you, Mr. Spicer.
Raise your right hand, please.
Yep.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you provide on the application to the commission tonight will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So, can you just walk us through what is proposed for, no changes to Valley Road, correct?
That is correct.
And it's just the Lorraine Avenue and then the east side of Lorraine?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes. Unfortunately, the presentation I sent is not on the screen, so I can kind of walk you through. I did preempt by bringing copies. You should have them at your desk, at least on what I had hoped to present with this visual aid. So I'll walk you through it as we go through it. Unfortunately.
May I just ask, is this
Certainly.
a new plan that was on our desk this evening?
That is just a presentation tonight. None of the drawings that was submitted to HPC has been altered in any way.
Oh, okay.
It's additional information to help tell the story.
Okay. Does she have your presentation?
She does, and she just went to get it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for
Well,
some reason I
we
thought
can
it was
follow
there.
along. We can follow you
Okay,
until
awesome.
she comes back.
Sure.
Okay, this will be marked A1 because it's not been previously distributed, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so that's A1.
Okay.
Okay. For,
Okay.
The description you gave of the building is quite accurate. The building was built in 1935. I do not know who the architect was. Mr. Smollen's office prepared a wonderful synopsis.
Wait, what? Just hit the button so that the green light is on.
How's that?
Much better. Okay, thank you.
Okay. As I was saying, we are in receipt of the comments that we, from actually acknowledging the receipt of our application from October 8th, giving us comments about the description and the appropriateness of the application. And we also received comments prepared by Architectural Heritage Consultants LLC, which was presented to us. And I thought that the reports that was passed along to us was information that really, perfect, encapsulated our understanding of the project. We agreed that the property was constructed somewhere around 1935, and the building itself is a pretty uniquely shaped and situated building. It's front-facing on Valley Road, where it gets the address 629 Valley Road. However, the building is an L-shaped configuration, so it kind of wraps around the building that is on the corner. This is the corner of Lorraine and Valley. Currently, the building's facade on Lorraine Avenue is pretty much non-existent. It's just a brick wall. It is covered with stucco. There are no penetrations. There are no openings. There isn't anything except perhaps one or two electric boxes, a sprinkler standpipe connection, and some light fixtures. So the ultimate goal of this project is to reestablish that facade. We wanted to do something we thought that was tasteful in bringing back what we believe would have been what the building would have looked closer to than what it is currently. Just thumbing through the slides, and maybe I should just get this just so I can cue you up to where I am in my presentation. This is the report. There was a picture that Mr. Smolin shared with us as well that indicated the building in the corner, and it was really nice to see all of these penetrations and openings, which if you were to walk by that building, you'll see that they actually exist. They're just blocked in right now. So our project would really be reactivating a corner that has been pretty much left to nothing but masonry walls without any penetrations. There's no activity along that side of the elevation. Okay, this is the Valley Street facade. I'm going to talk a little bit about this because the primary scope is really here. So the images that you see here are the sides of the building. This is the east elevation of the building. It is fronted by a 12-foot easement that is there. Just for your purposes and just to make sure that you understand the relationship of the building that is adjacent to it, this is the site here where there is a development currently going in the old Saunders hardware store location. That's the rear of that building. This is the rear of our building. The easement is here, and it services both this building and that building. Just for reference, the side of that building is also covered with stucco, painted over cement blocking in some areas. Some of the windows that were previously there and/or doors were closed in. Our objective is to reactivate some of those doors. If you see the arrow that's pointed in your drawing, there is evidence that there was a door there. We're planning on establishing the door that's there. And then the door that you see up front, at the very corner, which is the second slide, our goal is to close that door. There's no need for it, and it wasn't really original to the building. It's there now, but it really makes no sense to the property itself. I'll slide to the next. Okay, that's the front elevation. The building width is about 34 feet wide, and it stands approximately 14 feet tall, at least this elevation. Again, as you can see, there aren't any windows. It's all stucco. It has a terracotta coping along the top, and that would remain. Our goal is to reestablish the storefront, remove all of the stucco, all of the spalled or broken masonry units, and either install a new masonry units, or if the masonry wall that is there is stable enough after we make the penetrations, we also may consider putting a thin brick and laminating the exterior of the building. The same treatment would be applied to the east elevation of the building, which is, again, the elevation that you see on the side. The key is to really just make it tie in a little bit more. Right now, it's just a white vanilla box. As soon as you make that corner turn from Valley Road onto Lorraine, and it is really kind of nondescript. I'll go to our drawings, which have a greater detail. Okay. I'm sorry about rushing through this a little bit, but I understand it's late and everyone's trying to get out of here as well, so I'm trying to be as detailed as possible, or as necessary, to convey the ideas here. The elevation that you see here in the top drawing, it simply illustrates the reestablishment of the masonry, shows the new door location, and then you start to see some articulation of brickwork pattern, which we are wrapping around from the front elevation, which is the elevation that you see just to the right, upper right corner, next to the title block. There you'll see we have two masonry walls with a cast stone base. We have materials selected for those, which we'll see on the next slide. And again, we're just placing in very large storefront windows with butt joint glass and doors with glass insets, and some very nondescript lighting on the facade. And then instead of using what we see a lot around town being used as gooseneck light fixtures, we're placing something that's a little bit cleaner and simpler, and you'll also see an image of that on the next sheet, because we really didn't want to emphasize the lighting fixture. We wanted to make sure that we illuminated the facade in a way to where it stands out and it really looks nice along Lorraine Avenue there. I'll go to the next slide. This is crazy. Let's see. Okay. So here you'll see where we've shown some of the materials in your presentation, just to give you an idea of some of the colors. We do intend on putting a fabric awning in front. It would replicate what is currently on the facade facing Valley Avenue. Same style, same design, nothing extra. And in essence, that's pretty much it. It's a pretty simple beautification of the Lorraine corner there. I know that there were some comments that came to us with respect to potentially recessing the storefront and trying to reestablish what one may have seen there when the building was originally constructed. However, because of the size of the space and the size of the facade and the fact that it's actually a side street and not on the main street of Valley Road where you see a lot of that happening, we thought that it would be too much, and the owner of the property is very much not willing to do that at this point in time. But I did wanted to address that just so you're aware of where we are. There's a lot of nuanced brickwork and patterning that's going to occur on the front, which would have been typical or common to buildings of this type, particularly along the main street. We believe that this building would be a really nice terminus of the brick-type buildings along that corridor, that retail corridor, which wraps around, and it pretty much stops at this building. Even though there are two buildings that are beyond this on Lorraine Avenue, none of them are of this sort of construction. It appears to have been old residential houses that may have been converted into commercial uses. So they also fall into the same zoning as the entire Valley Street road there, which is the NC designation, the neighborhood commercial zone. So that's pretty much our presentation. We'd be more than happy to take any questions and clarify anything that may not be.
Thank you,
Sure.
Mr. Trisser. Can I ask, are you requesting approval for the lighting and the signage tonight, or just the lighting?
Good question. We are not providing, the landlord at least, in this particular scope of work, is not providing signage whatsoever for the spaces. The space is currently unoccupied, and he didn't want to put signage on the building, not understanding who the tenants would be.
Understood. You don't have a tenant yet? Okay,
Yeah.
Right.
So that would be, and the tenants, once he gets them, would be informed that they need to come to this board to get approval for that. The owner of the property is aware of that. We are, however, seeking approval for the lighting.
Okay.
And the lighting is inside the package of what you received. It would have been also, if you, these drawings in this presentation that I presented are too small to see. I believe we supplied you with full-scale drawings, and you should be able to go back to that if you need something with a larger image there. But I think these should suffice in giving you some clear indication of what the light
Okay.
fixtures look like.
All right, thank you very much. So we'll open up to the commissioners for questions. Mr. Giuliano, would you like to begin?
I don't have any questions at this time.
I have no question.
Mr. Rooney?
Do I know that any questions at this time? Yeah, so there's a lot of subtle little changes in brick and so on. Have you been hired to follow this through construction?
Yes, we have been.
Okay.
My question is the exterior materials for the brick, that's sort of, I don't know, dappled with the different color. That's an obvious design choice, so but it's different than what is next door to it? Was that the consideration?
It's not that much different than what's next door. Next door has a variation of different tones of a deeper red brick. This one has a little bit more reddish tone. The building adjacent to it has a little bit more brownish tone, but there are some red highlights in that coloring as well.
Well, I guess what I'm seeing is the blue. Is that?
Oh, with the awning. That's the awning fabric that you're looking at, the blue? Or
No.
you're looking at the brick patterns?
I'm looking at the brick.
Oh,
pattern.
okay, yes.
Yes, yeah, the blue and the brick.
Yeah, I really think that that's a reprographic coloration.
say
I
that.
think that that's a reprographic coloration
Okay.
variation there that may come across as being blue, but I assure you that there isn't any blue brick in
That's
this
what
building
okay.
facade
Would you be
whatsoever.
open to reviewing that when you get around to
We
doing
would
the brick
be
facade?
delighted to submit a sample to you once
Okay.
Oh,
that has
great.
been
We can meet on
determined.
site, yeah.
Yes,
That would be
wonderful.
great. Okay, that was my question.
Okay.
So, Mr. Smolin, can you go, are you
Sure.
ready to give your report?
Sure, so 629 Valley Road, as Mr. Schweitzer said, is within the Upper Montclair Historic District. It is a harmonizing structure built around 1935, and in a nutshell, will be a harmonizing structure after this proposed work is done. The proposed alteration removes a blank stucco wall from Lorraine Avenue, which I think is actually probably an intrusion to the historic district, so I think that's very positive. There's a glazed storefront, centered, symmetrical entry door. That's all appropriate per the commercial design guidelines, and it's returning that Lorraine frontage to being an active, transparent storefront consistent with the development pattern of the rest of the historic district. I think the awning and lighting are tasteful, subtle, compatible, and overall I think it's a very positive project for the Upper Montclair Historic District.
Thank you. So now we'll have discussion. John?
Okay, I have two comments. One are the picture windows on either side of the double doors. It's sort of the butt joint of the Mercado presentation. And I'm not sure it's appropriate with the rest of the motif. And I would tend to put dividers so those picture windows are broken up into smaller pieces. The other is the actual door flush to the facade. I don't think you're going to be allowed to do that because the doors, I don't believe, can open out into the public right away without being set back a little bit. So I would encourage you, like, to set the door entries back and create a little recess. I think you're gonna have to do that, well, if anyone catches it also.
Okay. I will take this information back to our client and inform him. Unfortunately, he's not here to make finite decisions, so, or final decisions, so I'll have to converse with him with that, but certainly. he's
Well,
more
that would have
valid.
to be one of our,
Yeah, it's gonna be one of
not a
Stipulations,
recommendation,
right.
it's a,
our requirements.
right.
Well, the building department make that decision.
Well, all right, do you have any comments? I think, yeah, because it makes,
I agree with fellow commissioner about splitting up the picture windows into two on each side. That's about it, right?
Mr. Sweeney?
I support it. It takes a unattractive stucco wall and converts it back to something of more historic character. So it meets, I think it's consistent with historically, and I think it's a vast improvement.
Thank you.
And Mr. Giuliano?
I just have a few. John, question to you. When, for the windows, were you just thinking to have an actual mutton vertically, or two separate windows with brick in between them?
Not brick.
Yeah.
Although I heard him say he might try to salvage the brick facade, so he's gonna have to carry it somehow at some point, and I can imagine he's gonna need break that facade.
Yeah.
So I think something a little bit, not a Don Mutton, but something a little bit more
Yeah,
substantial.
I would agree with my fellow commissioner there. I think the butt joint's not consistent with the rest of the facade, which has so much nice detailing on it from your design. I think a little bit of extra metal work in the window would help make it look a little more consistent with the look that you're kind of hearkening back to. I think the brickwork is really well done. There's a lot of interest on it. I'd love to see a mock-up, of the actual materials, and just to make sure that you're on board during construction to see it all through, to make sure that they don't just value engineer it down to just running bond for the whole facade. My only comment for possibly maybe a substitution is I think the light fixture that's up top, closer to the parapet, it's a little kind of too utilitarian looking, in my opinion, for this kind of facade. I would like to see more of like a gooseneck or fixture that looks like it would be something more of that kind of time period, of an early, it's just kind of that aluminum fixture. It just doesn't really look very
Right.
consistent with the rest of the facade.
Yeah, goosenecks in general are very common, and I can understand the desire to put something that one is very familiar with on a building. I think that this fixture is very refined, it's very thin, and it will somewhat disappear and not be as prominent as a gooseneck would be on the
Okay.
face of the building. And the reason why we chose the fixture primarily is because of the odd dimensions of the facade itself. It's very long and it's kind of squat.
Yeah.
So, goosenecks tend to be a little bit more obvious and very in your face.
Yeah, even when they're off.
So we wanted to
Yeah.
get something that kind of sets back.
Is the
And
finish of it like an aluminum, or is it going to be a darker
it's going to be
metal
like an
color?
anodized metal, aluminum, and the coloring, we could certainly provide you a cut sheet showing you
Yeah, I
the
think
final
that's good.
choice and sample color. My guess would be that, it probably only comes in a couple standard colors, the typical bronze, the
Yeah.
matte black, and whatever other brushed anodized aluminum type color or something like that. And I think that we would tend to revert to the more traditional, maybe bronze or black finish. It really depends on what the manufacturer is offering. We can
Yeah,
certainly
I think if
provide
it's
those
a
to you.
darker finish, and if it is kind of as low profile in reality as you say, I think
Yeah.
it could work
I think
okay.
yeah.
I would just not want to see like an aluminum brushed square
Right.
fixture on
Yes,
the
yes,
front. On the
yes,
front there.
understood.
So, but other
And
than that, I
completely
think
agree
the
with you.
facade work is all
Yes.
lovely.
Thank
My
you.
question is about the lighting fixtures on either side. What, are those illuminated from the back, or,
It has a, almost like a milk glass face,
oh,
and it is an LED light, and it just produces a kind of radiant, soft glow. You know, we wanted to put something out that allowed the light to emanate from it and not necessarily have any indication of the lamp that's concealed behind it, something that just gives you a very even general light. For lack of a better expression, a chiclet. It looks a little like a chiclet. Yes.
well, it sounds interesting. And so that metal that is indicated on this sheet would match the metal of the lighting fixture?
We will do our very best to make
Right.
sure that
Are-
both fixtures are definitely finish-wise in the same finish family.
So how bright is that light in terms of, you know, we're looking at, we see everything with the, what is that called, Sanab, with the lighting that goes behind that?
A halo illuminated?
Yeah, we see everything, it's not anything to do with halo lighting, correct? It's
No.
just- Okay.
No. And to answer your question.
Is that on here? I can't.
Yeah. You're talking about 42 watts. That's pretty basic, you know, moderate lighting. It's equivalent to a 40-watt light bulb.
Okay.
You know, the amount of light that's emanating from it. So it's not, you know, something that's really bright and, you know, like you said, create that fog effect when you're looking at it directly. It's not that sort of light. It's just something to really, you know, establish the facade as its own. The lighting above, obviously with the necks where you were referring to the goosenecks, is just for future. So when signage is placed up there, it is something that's going to illuminate that band as well.
Exactly.
The owner wanted control on what that looks like, so
Right.
that's why that's chosen now.
Right. No, I think they complement each other. I think it's a very nice
Thank you.
choice with the, you know, a little bit of a modern twist on what's essentially a traditional
Right.
facade. And I agree with my fellow commissioners about the brickwork and about how, you know, having a mock-up to see, I think, did you say that, John, about making sure that, because I'm reading things that come out, right? Like,
It's a lot of little details.
right, the details it's not just a
Right.
flat plane.
Oh, yeah, it's somewhat three-dimensional, particularly on the ends and the corners. And when it turns the building, there'll be some sort of difference dimensionally between the actual brick face and the detail that's being highlighted in the detailing.
The door, well, this long facade that runs off of Lorraine Avenue, I'm going to guess you're going to need more lighting there, because I think it's
There's
dark.
lighting already on the building, and we're...
What's that?
There's lighting already on the building, and we're keeping that. We're not
Oh, yeah?
removing it.
Is it shown in the?
Yeah, that is, you're talking about in the easement that is closest to the new door that we're putting there? Yes, there's lighting that's already there.
It's just.
Oh, you have lighting at either end. I'm saying.
Yes.
You might find that just from a safety point of view, I don't know how that door is being used in the back. People coming and going out of that door?
It is an egress door.
It's an egress
It's not a primary entrance or anything like that. And they
Generally,
may
you
receive
need to
deliveries
lighten
there.
the path of just a suggestion. You take it,
Understood.
Do what you want with it.
Yeah.
So,
But
that's it.
didn't you just say that you were eliminating that door? or-
We're eliminating the one that is closest to Lorraine Avenue in the corner.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Is there any pattern work on that facade that John's talking about, or is
Yeah.
that?
On the,
There's a-
at the,
Oh,
There's
is
a
that-
stone detail, and there's
Okay.
a little bit as it turns the corner. Some
yeah, just at the
big
corner and
improvement.
above the
A
door.
huge,
Big improvement.
yeah,
improvement.
very nice. I think it'll
Thank
be,
you.
it'll be a great improvement.
Thank you.
Okay, so, thank you very much. So, we're approving the application with some,
Some conditions.
conditions.
Right. So the first one is to break up the picture windows on either side of the door with a divider.
So it's not a butt
So it's
joint.
not a butt joint.
Right. A recessed door?
Is that a recommendation?
Yeah.
Okay, so the main entryway door should be recessed to comply with code and also for aesthetics. The light fixture, Nicholas, did you want, or Mr. Giuliano, did you want to make that a condition, the light fixture?
Yeah, I think we would just want something in a darker color.
Okay, so the.
But I think we'll approve the lighting as,
Okay.
the light, we'll approve the lighting, but we've asked if the applicant, if we could see both the lighting,
And the brickwork.
and the-
Finishes and details.
Right, and the finishes and details of the.
Okay, so the finished details for the brickwork pattern and the lighting will be presented in more detail, but are approved as presented. Let's see, what else do I have?
I think that was it.
I think that was it.
I think
yeah.
that's it, yeah, I think that's it. No, I think it'll be a great improvement, and,
Yeah.
and when will work begin?
This owner has been very antsy about getting this job activated.
Right.
So I would suspect that we will be moving very quickly to get this done. As you know, there's construction next door as well, and there may need a little bit more time to get their trucks and things in and out of that alleyway or that easement that is there. But I would suspect that he would move on this very quickly. He's
Okay.
been very antsy about this.
Okay, great, all right.
Yeah.
So I think it's great, so we'll,
Yeah.
we'll look forward to seeing you again on
Yeah,
site.
that whole Lorraine Street corridor there is going to really clean up nicely over the next
I
couple
think
years.
so, yeah.
Just one other building there that really needs a work over. That big stucco one on the corner.
Maybe you can talk to them.
Did you want to make a motion to approve?
Oh, sorry, yes. I'll make a motion to approve with the conditions. A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Everyone get home safely.
Yes, you too. All right, we have our last application. I just would like to take a 5-minute break.
Okay.
broadcasting again. All right, thank you. All right, we're back on, and it's 10 o'clock. And now we're listening to application 2025-26, 510 to 516 Bloomfield Avenue. It's a C of A application, and I understand that Mr. Sweeney must recuse himself.
Yes, I'm going to step down and watch it from a distance.
Does he have to leave the room? Okay. So gentlemen, it's nice to see you again. This property is located at 510 to 516 Bloomfield Avenue. It is a two-story retail property in the Town Historic District. The property is located on the south side of Bloomfield Avenue. It is a 20th century commercial building constructed in 1927 and is identified as a contributing building in the Town Center Historic District 2002 nominating report. The proposal is the applicant proposes to update the ground floor retail facade, including design options for both 3-tenant and 4-tenant configurations. Proposed improvements include the removal of the wood cornice above the storefront windows along the entire facade and repair of the underlying stucco. At 510 Bloomfield Avenue, the existing entry system, canvas awning, and sign box will be removed and replaced with new bronze and anodized aluminum framed glass storefront. An existing facade opening adjacent to the 510 Bloomfield Avenue entrance, currently infilled with tile, will be reopened to accommodate either a new window panel or an additional entrance, depending on the final tenant layout. New 12 by 24 bulkhead tiles will be installed beneath the windows. So, who will be speaking to this application?
My name is Howard Coopersmith, and I'm the architect.
Okay.
I'm with GR. Is it on? Can you hear me? Oh.
And hit the button so that it. Oh.
The green light is on.
Okay.
So. Okay. Howard Coopersmith with GRA Design Studio. We're architects in Greenbrook, New Jersey, and we have a set of drawings that consists of 2 plans, 2 sets of elevations, and a rendering. And the reason we have 2 plans is because the landlord at this point does not know whether he's going to need 3 tenants or 4 tenants. So we have proposals in plan for both, and the same thing in elevation for both. And basically, you gave my whole presentation, so I'm just open for questions at this point.
Okay, and who else will be joining you tonight?
Bennet Schwartz is the landlord. He's the owner of the building.
Okay, why don't you sit down? Just, are you going to testify? We just wanted, we could.
Not really. I mean, if any questions I can answer.
Well, we need
Well,
to.
you should come sit.
We just need to swear you in, or Ms. Bauer needs to swear you in. Then you could go back and sit in the comfy chairs.
Bennet Schwartz, Ridge Group.
Okay, so just raise your hands. Your hand.
Schwartz and Mr. Coopersmith, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you provide tonight on this application of the commission will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
You say
Yes.
yes.
You could go, honestly, you could go back and sit there if you want. Okay. Now, my question is, are you asking us to approve 2 different facades?
Well, the facades are really identical. The only difference is whether it's one tenant or 2.
The signage.
The signage, 2, 4 signs versus 3 signs.
Right.
If there is a 4th tenant, we need to create another entry point.
Oh.
And that entry point is currently a solid tiled wall. You've seen the building, so
Yes.
you're aware. And if there is a 4th tenant, we need that as, I believe it was a window or a doorway years and years ago, and it was closed up. So the idea is to reopen it as a doorway if it's 4 tenants, and if it's 3 tenants, as a window. identical to the adjacent windows.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear so that we know where our discussions go and what we approve in the end.
Well, I think we would love approval for both versions because
Right.
they just don't know at this point whether it's 3 or 4
But we
tenants.
have to flesh that out when we
Gotcha.
write the resolution. Okay, so we have the new,
Sorry, just to add, you're also seeking approval for the signage for 2 of the confirmed tenants tonight. Yes?
Are we seeking approval?
oh,
Oh, the answer is yes.
So the copy that was added to your desk is more details on the signage. So it's an addition.
Yeah, we submitted the same, it's the same elevation, only they have 2 tenants already, and we showed their signage on the new rendering as well as the new elevations. So that's the only difference. So we're
So,
showing the actual tenants. The original elevations were just theoretical names.
right. But I'm seeing 4 tenant signs and 3 tenant signs.
Correct.
Is that, I thought you said 2 and 4.
No, it's 3 tenants or 4 tenants?
4 tenant. Okay, just to be clear.
Yes.
All right, thank you. So can you just then explain what's going on here? Oh, I guess I should mention that the Design Review Committee did meet at the site, and we had a very productive, I think,
Right.
meeting, and I think that we see it with the final, what you're proposing.
Right, yeah.
So thank you.
That's what we tried to do. And basically, at the easternmost end of the facade, there was a small tenant, a few hundred square feet, a jewelry store. They had an awning. They have an awning currently. They have a box sign there. We're proposing to remove that altogether and kind of restore the building back to what it was before CVS. CVS was there for 40 years, I believe. I don't know, was Carl's there?
Prior to CVS.
Carl's was there prior to that, and I think it was Kresge's years and years ago. And my mother worked at Kresge's in the 30s and 40s, so I know that store a long time. But in Newark, not this one. So we're going to remove that altogether. On the other end is another awning, and that's to the entry point for upstairs. That awning would either be removed altogether, and then any holes left from the frame that might be there would be patched and to match the existing, or it would get a new canvas cover over the existing frame. I don't know what is the preference here, or even with the with the landlord, so I'm not sure, but either way would be acceptable. There's an existing stucco band that basically spans about 90 feet. It's the full width of the storefront, except for that entry point, which sort of has its own detailing, which is a cast stone or a limestone front with some granite at the bottom. That stucco band currently, you can see it in the existing elevations, has a wood cornice on it, which is kind of staggered. We're proposing to remove that altogether because it's wood and right now it's unfinished, and it's something that we think would allow us to put signage there in a much more efficient way, and keep the signage kind of lower towards the bottom and not too high. Of course, we would have to do some resurfacing or repair of the stucco if we pull that off. I think there's some cracks in the stucco, So the proposal is really to repair it. And sort of create this little belt at the bottom and at the top of it, just to give it some definition, because it's very wide right now. We're trying to kind of reduce the scale of it a little bit, and then have the signage all uniformly done. And we're proposing channel letters, like reverse channel letters that have LED lighting. So it's backlit, like a halo letter that's pin mounted to the wall, so it gives a shadow effect.
Mm-hmm.
We're not doing a lot of other things other than kind of unifying the window bulkheads, because currently there are probably 6 or 7 different types of tile on them. So the idea is to take the existing tile off and replace it with a, more up-to-date looking tile, larger scale tile. I think we're showing a 12-inch by 24-inch brick pattern in the tile, something dark, maybe very, like a dark gray, just to give it some unity.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, like I mentioned before, this becomes either a door opening or a window opening, depending on the tenant. Other than that, the building is really going to remain the same. We're trying to, refinish. I think the coping needs to be touched up. Those are the major things.
Windows?
The windows are existing. This is all existing here, so the idea is to keep it. And anything that's new would have to be, code approved in terms of its accessibility. And we're trying to get it all to blend together.
Yes, thank you. So we'll start with, anything else? No?
I think
Okay.
that covers most of it.
Okay. So we'll have questions now from the commissioners. Mr. Rodnitz, would you want to begin?
The belt course right below the windows, you're saying that's stucco?
Yeah.
The gray?
This.
It's kind of a shadow line here, hard to see.
Oh,
And you can see it at the bottom more clearly. We have a little bit of definition to
It has
It's
joints in
not-
it. It looks like it's concrete. You're saying it's stucco.
Do you mind just using the mic? Sorry. Thank you.
Yes,
Oh, you're right.
this is made out of stucco. It's not concrete. The existing cornice here is stone.
It's stone.
it's
Yes,
stone. It's,
right.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a little belt course below that, just
Or here.
I see.
that creates
You're
a.
going to leave that.
Oh yeah.
Eh,
No, we're leaving this.
Okay.
This is
and
part of the
adding
existing
something
building.
below it. Okay.
Yeah.
I understand that. Okay. Because your drawing, this is what threw me off. Your elevation drawing on, never mind. I read it wrong. Okay. That's consistent with rendering. Did you, I know we went there with as the design review committee. Is that committee was the one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One of our suggestions was to break up that big, I know you're taking off the old wood, fake, whatever,
Cornice thing.
To
detail
break up the
there.
band? Yeah, I remember we talked about that.
We talked, that's
In
pretty,
practicality-
8 feet or so.
Yeah, in practicality, that may be a little difficult, because to make it really nice out of just stucco maybe a little hard to do. Because I think it may end up looking like, well, somebody just did it out of stucco. Personally, I was afraid that somebody would get that effect. Oh, they're just trying to do that, and it's really stucco. It's not stone. It's because they're going to see it adjacent to something real, which is the joints in the existing cast stone, and you're going to see a marked difference between the two, and I'm afraid people might really understand that.
The belt course right above the lower windows.
Yes.
What is that? No, the lower, the facade,
This.
storefronts. What is that?
Also stucco.
That's going to be a different color stucco? as the
Yeah, but it's
background?
not going to be flush. We're going to build it out just to give it a little bit of definition, so it really looks like.
So you could add something above and out of stucco. You're doing it there, right?
Well, but this is different because this is something that if you really wanted to make it look like a belt course that was a series of cast stones, you put a single joint in between. If you try to do a pattern in this large area, I'm not sure we could pull that off and make it really great.
Okay.
Out of stucco, and I should say out of a resurfacing of stucco, because that's all we really have to work with. It's not like we're starting over and we can do this out of, real precise fabrications.
Okay, I don't have any other questions.
Mr. Rooney?
No, I don't have any questions.
Mr. Giuliano?
I mean, in the actual sign band, I mean, are there going to be any joints in the stucco that aren't shown on the rendering, or is it all just completely smooth?
That's a good question. I think a stucco or mason would be able to tell us. I mean, normally in stucco, you would have control joints at over a period of certain length.
Yeah.
But because this is resurfacing something that's already there that doesn't have joints at this point, I don't believe, because I don't remember seeing any.
Mm-hmm.
It may be that we won't have it.
That's my only question right now.
Let me just ask my question. On the plans, you have backing, backers board on the tenant signs.
On the elevation.
On the
A201.
A201 and A200.
You mean the shaded area?
Yes.
That's meant purely to show limitation of signage. It's not meant to be a backer for
Okay.
anything.
All right. Well, okay. Thank you.
It's square footage limitation.
Okay. So the as you said, describing that, they're pin-mounted letters right on the stucco back.
Yes.
Okay, that was my question. Mr. Smolin, would you like then, any other oh, you have another question?
I'm good.
All right.
Okay, so 516 Bloomfield is a 100-year-old commercial block, classical revival detailing. I did have a question. If you saw in my report on the first page, the furthest left storefront with the green marble base, were you able to figure if that might be original to the 1927, 1930s, or is that from a later alteration? It's a jewelry store.
It's hard for me to know whether that's really original. It's possible.
Okay.
I don't know for sure.
Other than that, the balance of the storefront being altered as part of this application is definitely not historic. It all dates from likely the 1984 rehabilitation that CVS did when they moved in after the department store and Carl's did win a award from Montclair's Main Street project in 1984, I saw. I think what you're doing is restoring much of this facade to more or less how it looked at the sign ban zone in the period of like 1930 up into the 70s. So you're restoring this sign ban to that period. You're not doing anything with the awnings that they once had below. I think you have a confirmed tenant for the furthest right portion of the store?
2 tenants, I believe.
Okay. What,
The first two to the right, on
Okay.
the western side of the facade.
What storefront treatments are associated with the tenancy on the furthest right? Is it going to be clear glass?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't think that they've asked for
The
anything
dispensary's
different.
going to have clear glass
Yeah.
into it? Okay.
I mean, I'm not aware that they were asking for any changes to the storefront other than just putting the sign up.
Is, let me see here, I lost my point. Is it possible to do larger stone panels than 12 by 24 for the bulkhead sills? It's somewhat small. It looks like tile work kind of, and not like what you would expect for a storefront with like a massive piece of stone,
Yes.
like a granite or some type of domestic stone. I think that's all I had.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. We have some more
All
questions.
right, question, no, actually it's a comment, so I'll hold on. I'm sorry.
No
I'll hold
question?
on. No, it's a comment.
Okay, well, why don't you start with comments then?
Yeah, a larger tile for the bulkhead. If this is meant to be porcelain tile or marble, do you know what it? You don't know what it is.
We
yet.
haven't selected anything
You
yet.
can get a lot of stuff 24 by 24 or larger. Just you'll feel.
Yeah, I mean, the bulkhead is only so big,
Yeah.
so if you want to see joints in it, you're not going to see horizontal joints if you have a 24-inch high tile. You're only going to see vertical joints,
Yeah.
which may be, I'm not sure that that's a better presentation than trying to create a
Yeah.
tile pattern.
Yeah. The trouble I have with the 12 by 24 is it looks like all this porcelain tile that's being installed into residential. It just is a scale that I look at it and go, this wouldn't be used there. So just take it under advisement, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we're fine with a larger tile, but the larger the tile, I have a feeling the more costly it may be. And that's a function of the landlord's budget.
Oh, I had a question. I know what my question was. When you say you're going to resurface the stucco above, what does that really mean? What do you mean you're going to resurface? So you got to put wire mesh and do a new stucco surface, or are you just painting over the stucco?
We have actually a contractor here who might answer that better.
You have to come up
here
and
and identify yourself.
and be sworn in.
James D'Agostino from JD Construction.
Mr. D'Agostino, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you'll provide on the application of the conditions tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you. John, what's your question?
My question is, I heard you're just going to resurface the stucco. What does that really mean? How are you resurfacing? You can do it in a lot of different ways. You could paint over it. You can do.
No, we're not.
You can do.
Definitely not
You can
painting.
do a wire mesh and do a real new stucco surface.
So the existing substrate that's up there is a traditional stucco. So with removing the cornice, we would patch in those areas and resurface the entire thing so it was a smooth finish. But we didn't anticipate removing the entire thing and putting up a new
Like a skim coat.
Like a skim coat.
Like a skim coat.
Like a skim coat.
Skim coat on top of it.
Skim coat on top of the existing.
But patching in the holes where the
Yeah.
old cornice that's to be removed.
Yeah, so we'll get a uniform stucco finish that, and they'll match the color of the stucco to what's already there and the adjacent limestone. If we were to just try to patch it and paint it, it wouldn't be, I don't think it would work, and it would be a maintenance nightmare.
And I think all the, if we were just to paint it, all the patches would transfer through. And that's not the intent.
Any other comment? Question?
I just see some, I see some existing cracks. I see some on the far left side where I'm not convinced that just
Where the sign, where that
where the
box is.
Caesar's Jewelers sign is.
Whether that
Just,
technique will.
Well, I guess it's their, I'm not sure how long it's going to last.
Well, once they
installed like
take
that.
down the awning and that box sign, they're going to have to examine the condition. And it may be that, removal of that removes part of the stucco finish down to wire mesh, which means that they'd have to redo it from wire mesh on.
So you may open up areas in order to.
Well, they may
patch
have to.
and
That's
you might
kind of
have to-
unknown at this point until they start taking
Just
it
don't want to see
apart.
this peeling off
Agreed.
2 years from now. And
Sure.
Right, nobody wants that.
Yeah.
And it becomes a headache for the landlord over time anyway to have to, redo anything.
Okay.
I'll just, if I may, add to the band of the tile work on the bottom. On average, it's about 2 feet. There are sections of it that are less. So a 24-inch tile would not have any horizontal
exactly.
joints, just so you know.
But isn't that more appropriate for this the bulkhead, for this period, that the bulkhead is all,
The bulkhead ideally should just be one slab of granite
Right.
per bay. It's the easiest way to say it. It should not be individual small tiles.
right? Is that something you would consider it, that?
I'm not going to speak for the owner.
I would consider it, but the owner is here.
Consider it.
Well, that might be a recommendation, or a condition except for the C of A.
The existing condition is 12 by 12 tiles that are, I think, in the running.
But they don't look
No,
appropriate.
no, I'm not disagreeing with you. I just
Right,
to
right.
explain.
That's what, I think that's a concern,
Mhm.
what I'm hearing. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Any other comments, John?
No.
Steve?
No.
Mr. Giuliano? The only comment that I have is that the stucco that you're talking, we've spent so much time on, proportionately seems out of proportion to the facade. And I don't know if there's any way you can.
Well, that's why we added that little belt on top and bottom to reduce that total surface, which I think was more than 7 feet tall. So we're reducing it. We could maybe increase that little belt, but the more we do that, the higher up the sign is. And I think that there's a sign ordinance that doesn't allow the
it's
signage
height.
to be more than a certain height.
Right.
Which we're probably more than already there because of the existing condition.
Oh,
So we don't want to, exacerbate that issue.
okay. No, my comment would be the bulkhead, which I think should be all one slab, whatever you decide. And, I think it's a huge improvement, especially with all the variations going on in the jeweler store to the left. It's just that proportionately, I would like to see that stucco reduced a little bit. But if you're saying that that's impossible, the height of the stucco.
That goes back to the idea of adding an intermediate belt course there, which he doesn't think he can do out of stucco well.
Mm.
So.
Well, but we are having the belt course at the bottom and at the top, trying to reduce that
Right.
massive.
Yeah, it does help. That does help.
Yeah, and maybe we could, increase that belt a little bit more and try and further reduce it.
Okay. And then my other question is the placement of the signs. That night owl sign, why isn't that centered over the windows? Oh, no, what am I looking at? Is this then? Is it Night Owl or Art Studio?
That's our rendering.
Art,
Yeah, it says Art Studio.
this one, is this the newest one?
The one that says Night Owl is newer,
This is newer than that.
correct?
Okay, so, but shouldn't that be centered over? The
I
placement of
think-
the
I
signs
think-
is not,
I think the placement was, we have a renderer in our office, and I think he was trying to center it in what would be the tenant space. I mean, you obviously can't see the demising walls, so you don't know exactly, but maybe that's what he was doing. But we have no problem with, adjusting the placement of the signs to, to whatever we think is best.
well, I think what we've agreed on in the past is that it should be over the windows, or either the windows or the entry, and you can't, it's got to be centered on the windows to the right, and then the one to the left should be centered on that pilaster that,
I think the intent was that this is supposed to be
okay.
if it came out that was the intent.
No, we're looking at
So
this,
on-
which is it?
The intent was that it was supposed to be.
Okay, so that would be a, is that a condition?
We would certainly make that
Okay.
work.
And then the one that, I don't know what, is your tenant, is that the JU?
That's tenant
This
two.
is it's a restaurant.
So that should be centered on the pilaster.
It should be centered on the pilaster.
No.
No, to the left.
This one.
Right.
Yeah, that's those two windows go with tenant two, right?
So
I
that,
mean, but then it's further away from the entry, and I think we were trying to more relate it to the entry point.
well, then it should be over it's a shorter, it's
Well,
short,
the
Well,
problem
what we
is-
did was we centered it right over that
the window?
particular window, yes.
Okay, because that I could agree with. It's not, it doesn't show up on our, as that, being that way here.
If you look at A200 on that smaller packet that was on your desk, you can see a little bit more detail on the,
Yeah, you see it's directly centered over this window. It's dead center over that window.
Oh, okay. So Night Owl needs to be moved.
Yeah, Night Owl, we will say. Well, the reason we.
And the one right to the left is.
Right. Well, the one to the left should be centered.
On that.
There's a reason that this was shown like because we're showing the limitation with a 2-foot-high sign, with the limitation of the width, that's the shaded area. If we were to put this dead center over this window on the right,
Uh-huh.
then it may be way too close to the edge of the full sign band.
If you want to take it to the maximum, right?
Right. But of course, without knowing the actual spread of the tenant signage, which we didn't know when we were drawing this, we weren't sure.
Oh, so 201, the placement on 200 and 201 is different for Night Owl. On 200, it's more to the south. And then you have that other dispensary. Is dispensary part of the sign? I don't know.
Yes, the wording on the dispensary is part of this.
Oh, and is that within the ordinance?
yeah, I think that, sorry I didn't catch that before, so I think that will have to be shortened a little bit because the total sign height cannot exceed 24 inches. Yeah, so the other ones, the Juichi one does comply. the night owl, if the letters can be made shorter.
At the last minute, we got something from
Okay.
about their sign. We really didn't have dimensions on it.
Okay.
So we were kind of
Okay.
interpreting it just to show.
That makes sense. So we'll just put a condition in that. Right. Okay. Sounds good.
But-
And they have to reduce their whole, their letter scale from the floor.
Right, right. Well, I think, but the ones all the way, there are different fonts on the signage too. Are we, normally what we approve are all the fonts the same size? See, so you're asking us to approve signage, correct? Either for 3 or 4 tenants, and which would have to be conform to what our ordinance is. But what you're showing here in 201 is that the height is different for the 4 tenants. The height is different in the sign to the left, different from the restaurant sign, and different from Night Owl Dispensary. I'm on 201.
We're showing the same height for all of them.
Well, it's not on this. I'm sorry, I don't have it on this.
Just for the record, the one that we have is Exhibit A1, which is not the same one as over there. I don't know whether it's just the first page that's different, but it seems to be more than the first page, 5 pages that are A001, A200, A201, A100, and A101. If you decide to approve the signage, you're going to have to make it very clear what page you're referring to,
Right.
what depiction on the page, because even internally, with respect to Exhibit A1, they're inconsistent.
Sorry.
But we're not approving, we're approving it in concept about where, don't the individual tenants have to come back and sign each application?
We were showing in all cases, 2-foot-high letters, just as a maximum for, and consistently, for all the signs. That's what
Oh,
I
okay.
see.
No, well, that's
They're
not
all
what
the
we
same.
see.
Maybe it looks a little different because for Night Owl and the Juichi, because their letters are a little different than the generic of what we use for store 3 and 4, maybe that's why it looks different. But we're showing, the box around the whole perimeter is really showing the 2-foot letter as a maximum height altogether.
But I think to Ms. Bauer's point with that, we have to approve it, so we have to know what we're approving. And we can't, what we're looking at is not what's up there that we're looking at right now. Is this, see this?
Yeah, I'm holding what you're holding right now.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
holding this. This was submitted slightly after when we got information from the tenants. And that's the only reason it, instead of saying store 1 and store 2, it has the name of the tenants. Because we just got this last week, and we just submitted it to you, just so you would have to know that those are the 2 tenants that are going in there. The intent is that the tenants will conform to signage requirements.
Okay.
We're not trying to design their sign for them here. We're
Oh.
just trying to display where it goes, and that they will conform to the signage ordinance.
Okay. We have somebody.
Well, the inconsistency that I'm referring to, though, is the placement of, I'll call it the letters rather than call it the sign, because I understand that there's no backing, so you've just created the dimensions to show what the
Correct.
limitation
It's a
is.
limitation.
And putting that aside, the letters are not in the same place. In other words, like the O in 201 is over the joint of the windows, and the O is solidly on the left window in 200. So if they want to center it over the window, if that's part of your condition or part of your approval, we just need to know what depiction controls.
Can I ask, what do we?
Otherwise, the tenant comes
don't
back
we
with the
have to come
sign, I
with the
agree.
Signage details and how the sign's being made?
Well, okay, Zainab, they're asking for approval of signage?
Yes, they are.
Yeah. Well, conceptually, not detailed, because the tenant should,
But-
I'm sure you approve, you review shop drawings of signage. So they're going to have to put together an actual signage package with their elevations and get it approved by you directly. But this is really more conceptual for the idea.
I'm just referring to the fact that earlier in the conversation, they wanted the sign centered over either the pilaster or the window or whatever it is. If that's going to be part of your approval, then we need to know what depiction controls. If it's not, you can be as conceptual as you want.
What do you, you have to tell us what you're
It's hard for me
asking.
to answer, only because if I say, well, let's center it over the window, and then I find out that they want to spread their signage out more, because they're allowed to, and shorten it, it wouldn't work, because then it would get too close to the side here, so I'm not really sure yet.
So can we approve it without the signage, and then everybody comes back for signage?
What do you think?
Yeah.
Can we, sorry, I'm the tenant.
Oh, I think can you identify yourself, please?
Sorry, yes. Thank you. I'm Marcy Leventhal, part of Night Owl.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you'll provide in the application of the commission tonight is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi. So we have limitations from the state because we're a dispensary about the type of signage we can have. We are literally only allowed to do lettering, so it's pretty straightforward. If you guys will approve, I don't know, if you like one of the letterings better, if you like our next door neighbor's lettering better, we can match it. We're sort of agnostic. We just want to get a sign approved so we can get it. We've been at this for 3 years. So,
But so what is it that's going to actually be on the sign? Night Owl, and then you want dispensary on it?
Night Owl Dispensary, yes.
Okay.
But does that meet, does the dispensary?
I don't
allow
think,
the size of the?
It currently does not, so you would have to include a condition that the signage complies with the zoning ordinance limiting the total sign height to 24 inches.
That's no problem.
Okay.
So what they initially asked for, the 2 tenants that they do have confirmed for their signage to be approved, and then the other 2 or 1 tenant to be approved in concept. So
okay, so the 2 to the right we're approving tonight?
Yes.
Okay, with the condition that Night Owl Dispensary be manipulated so it falls within the 24
Right, and
inch
so
height.
when there's a condition like that, they would have to resubmit a rendering to the zoning officer to ensure that it complies before they get their permits.
That's fine. We have no problem doing that.
Based
Yes.
on what I see here, if they need to stay within that 24 inches, that sign is going to get smaller. So at
That's-
that point, it can sit over the 2 windows.
That's okay. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I think that's good.
Okay.
Okay, that's great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're all clear with the signage then. And the other 2 tenants, when you get a tenant, will come back to us. Okay. All right, so anything else, or discussion-wise? No? No? Okay, so I think what we're talking about are, Zainab, do you want to?
Conditions?
Yes, please.
Yes. There's a recommendation that the belt course above the signage be made, above and below the signage be made a little bigger if possible, or more prominent. The signage should be, for Night Owl, should be made smaller to comply with the zoning requirement of a 24-inch height limit, and then should be moved further to the right of the facade to align with the windows.
Centered.
Centered above the 2 windows. And,
The bulk?
the bulkhead should be, 24-inch tiles?
No, one piece,
Slabs.
a slab.
Slabs.
One piece? Okay, one piece granite or,
Now,
stone.
the one thing, though, about the belt course, I think you testified that the lower one couldn't be any bigger, right?
No, I didn't. I
Oh, I'm
didn't say
sorry.
that.
Okay.
No, I'm saying that maybe we can increase the both of them, bottom and top, just a little bit to try and reduce the.
But didn't you
the
say
space
that
in
if you
between.
did that, then the signage would be too high for the ordinance?
He's not talking.
No,
much.
I wasn't.
Talking much.
I think no matter what you do, the sign's already higher. What's the ordinance, that,
It's-
12 feet or something?
Yeah, so it's
To
either
the
12
top?
feet or whatever the signage band is. So with this building, there wouldn't be any opportunity to put the signage lower, so that stucco course is considered the sign band.
Right, that, we're holding it low on that band.
Right.
But if we were to, it's already more than 12 feet, I believe. I scaled it. And
Okay.
so that's like.
Well,
we
the
can't
reason
do anything
I'm
about
bringing
that.
it up is because I don't think a condition for the lower belt course should be made any higher, because then you're going to cut out you're going to, the negative space underneath the signs, and that belt course is going to become smaller, which I think you need. It's going to make the whole stucco panel look larger.
So should we remove the condition about the belt course and?
Wait, no, I'm not following that. The stucco course, the stucco panel, if we increase the belt on the bottom and the top, the panel will be a little bit smaller.
At the bottom of the signs then rise.
Well,
And, that's what,
we're already holding it
I'm worried.
above a little bit.
don't think
Yes,
that'd
it
be-
might go a
enough
few
to
inches.
add this
We're
one.
only talking a few inches, because I don't think,
All right.
proportionately, we should make that belt course too
Much-
much bigger than
right.
it is.
yeah.
Okay, so, all right, so we'll keep that in. I was just trying to help it, to make it look more, not to negate the negative space underneath the signs. I don't think you want them sitting right on the belt course, because you're going to have all
You're
this.
still reading the square where these are just letters
Right.
in the background. So
Right.
it's not as-
Right.
Yeah, let's say we increase the belt on the bottom by 2 inches,
Mm-hmm.
then we would probably raise the sign up 2 inches, just to allow that space in
Mhm.
between consistent.
Okay, all right. So then we'll keep that, Sana. All
Okay.
right. Are there any other?
I didn't have anything else.
No? Okay, so now we'll vote on this. Will someone make a motion?
I move to approve with conditions.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, all right, good.
Okay.
Well,
Thank you.
it looks like a great project.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, it really looks good.
Thank you.
And I don't think the awning, I know that awning that was up there was really tattered.
Yes.
But the metal bar that holds it in, that's into limestone, correct?
Yeah.
So that might be, it might look better to put
Just
another.
replace it, yeah.
To replace
Yeah,
it.
we're willing to do that, no problem.
Yeah, okay. All right, sounds good. Thank you very much.
Very good, thank you.
All right, we're almost,
Thank you. Okay.
no, I think we're done. Do we have anything else to discuss? No. All right, so it's 10:40 or 10:50. Who would like to make a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Second? All right, see everybody in November? Oh, aye. See everybody in November. All right, good night, thank you very much. Good night.